and me. But guess what? To these guys, it is not. There's a bunch of par fours in that 400 to 450 yard range that a guy like Cam Young can really take advantage of. And then when he's up there, he's going to be hitting wedges in. So we want to be a great driver of the golf ball, long driver of the golf ball, a great wedge player. And I really think ultimately the number one test here this week is putting. These greens are like, I don't know, 3-week-old potato chips. I mean, they are just warped. They're all over the place, and they're massive, Kevin. So just to give you an idea, if you watched the golf last week at Quail Hollow in the Truist Championship, those greens are about 6,800 square feet on average in size, and they look huge, right?
Yeah.
The greens this week are 8,200 square feet.
Wow.
So they're almost like 1.5 times as big as what we saw last week. They're huge. So there's a lot of quadrants. There's a lot of plateaus. There's a lot of runoff areas. And in doing that, you're going to see guys that have 80, 100-foot putts this week. You got to be a great lag putter. You go back to that 2018 BMW Championship that I quoted before where Keegan Bradley won, 62% of his strokes gained that he was positive on against the field came from the putter. It never works that way. It's usually about a third from the putter, and then it's like a third from, off approach with your iron game, and then maybe it's like it splits the rest between off the tee and around the green. To have that much of an emphasis on the putter really shows you what these guys are going to have to do. And Cam Young's been on a terrific putting run. So, hey, 7 starts, 4 top 10s, and 2 more wins coming into here, and he's from New York. I love it.
Yeah. So when you mention those quadrants with 8,200 square foot greens, and pin placements will be so critical, so key. And that, we see it at the Masters all the time. And I told you when I was there and I watched them put the pin in on 16, for the final round. How much is that going to come into play here? I'm not saying to trick or fool these guys, Keith, but just to keep them on their toes, I guess.
Well, I'm going to say it for you, Kevin. We need to trick or fool these guys. Yeah. They're just too good. The problem is that the slope on these greens is so severe that what happens is that kind of dictates where Kerry Haig and the championships team can put the hole locations.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the 11th hole for an example. Everybody's making a big deal about this short par 4. It has the most slope of any green from back to front on the golf course. When they put the pin just above the false front, if you miss that by less than 10 feet, that's 3 yards on approach. If you miss that or you spin it back, it'll come 40, 50 yards off of the green. That's how much slope we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get into those quadrants, there's a lot of little subtle breaks, but they can't go crazy with a lot of these pin positions and they're going to have to rely on John Gosselin and the local team here. He's the head superintendent to say, hey, where are the places that we can put these things and where can't we? Don't forget, this is a full field event. I know the PGA Tour only plays with about 16 guys anymore with no cut, but we are back to a full field event with 156 players. You got to get everybody in before dark on Thursday and Friday. On the weekend, they might open it up a little bit more, but on the first couple of days, they have to be somewhat conservative, and the golf course itself dictates that they have to be somewhat conservative.
Reading the lines, Keith Stewart with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Do you like, it's been, 7-8 years since they moved the PGA Championship to number 2 instead of rounding out the season? I saw Rory McIlroy's comments about last year where, he just didn't have enough time after the Masters, he felt. What do you like it where it is right now, Keith?
Rory didn't have enough time. Interesting. What's he so busy doing? Right?
Chasing around Poppy. Chasing around Poppy,
yeah,
Keith.
I guess. What's he polishing the Ryder Cup? I mean, seriously, what's this guy? He's trying. He's got to go to the dry cleaners to pick up multiple green jackets. I need more time. I think if you look at a lot of these golf courses, this one included, was signed up to play before they moved it to May. Oak Hill was definitely one of them. I was up there covering that, and we had a frost delay in May. It is a little bit of a challenge to get up here in the Northeast in May.
Mm-hmm.
We're worried about the tip of where we should be. But, at the end of the day, I love it coming right after the Masters. I think, once we go across the Atlantic Ocean over to the Open Championship and then you get to August, I do like May. And if you go back, most of the years, the first year in May, we went Tiger at Masters and then we went Brooks at Bethpage. That was a great 1-2 punch to the year. And we've had a number of years like that. Last year with Scotty, I know it was a 5-shot victory, but the year before in Valhalla, everybody picked on the golf course. But name a major championship for me that ended on the final shot. Well, Xander Schauffele makes that last putt, and then it's over. I mean, to me, we've had some great theater in May, and as long as they get good at choosing the golfers, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if they really want to gain an identity to this event, they probably need to dramatically change it in some fashion. It's not the date that's going to do that.
Yeah.
One more 4-round, 72-hole stroke play tournament's not going to do it. They should go back to the way they had it in the 40s and 50s when it was a match play event. Let them play a couple rounds of stroke play, and then put them out there head-to-head, and then let's see who's got it. Because I tell you what, that probably helped the American team when it comes to that Ryder Cup.
Yeah. Keith Stewart with us on Sports 1440. Why do you have Sam Burns, Keith, as your dark horse on Read the Line?
At the risk of being redundant, just think about it. Great driver of the golf ball, great wedge player, and one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. And if we just go down the Pennsylvania Turnpike, same state, at Oakmont, he had a very, very good chance to win there. If not for the storm on Sunday afternoon, I think it's a very similar skill set that's going to be needed. It's the same agronomy. That's why I love Cam Young. He grew up on this grass up there in New York City. And, you know, Sam Burns being one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. One thing to point out here, Kevin, the Aronimink membership made a championship decision. No one has played this golf course since November when they shut down for the winter.
Wow.
This whole spring, the golf course has been closed to just the championship players and their practice rounds. These greens are perfect. If you are a great putter like Sam Burns, you're not burning edges. You are making putts, and that is going to be a difference maker. And you look at Sam's 3 of his last 4 major, big events, because the Players, he was 13th, but he was 7th at the Masters and 7th at Oakmont in that U.S. Open. He's 29 years old. He's coming in the prime of his career. I think Sam's settling in, and I just love the look for him this week because of his skill set.
If you had a second choice for a dark horse, how high would Ricky Fowler be on that list?
You know, I'm not sure after last week how dark that horse is.
Fair.
You know, I mean, he might be a little bit more of a golden ticket, if you know what I mean. You know, we always believed that Ricky should win a major. He had that level of talent, and the way he's striking the ball right now, and you know, obviously too, the way the putter's been working, and he learned some lessons last week, going head to head with some of those young players. This golf course supremely fits Ricky. If he's not on your betting card or in your DFS lineups, I think you're making a big mistake. The way he's striking the ball right now, it's back to like he was when he won Quail Hollow in 2012 for the first time. I think Ricky's a very, very strong pick, but I don't think he's that far down the list. He's kind of in the middle there.
Right.
And I think that there's some good value there. I think there's definitely some good value there on the prop board, whether it's head-to-heads or in some placements, you know. But certainly Ricky has my attention.
There are 4 Canadians in the field. There isn't a better story than what we've seen this year from a guy that no one really heard of before this year, in Sudarshan Yalamaraju. And this is a guy that, as you know, Keith, has never taken a lesson, hasn't had a coach, didn't go to college. How's he playing so well this year? And this is going to be his first major.
Well, Kevin, you could tell he's never taken a lesson from a PGA professional like me because he's lefty. I would have switched him to righty. But no, in all seriousness, because Corey's had a little bit of an off year, I almost think that Sudarshan is the guy to beat this week. So if you're playing group play or the nationality prop bet for low Canadian, the way that he's been striking the golf ball is going to give him an advantage on this golf course. It is going to be gettable. And the more crisp your contact and impact, the better you're going to be able to control trajectory and spin. It is going to be dry. It is going to be very, very firm. There's going to be wind in the afternoon. The way he has played over the last 6 weeks, 2 months on the PGA Tour, to me, I'd play him as low Canadian this week.
Yeah, it's fair. And I agree with you in the sense Corey Connors is having an off year. But what about Nick Taylor?
You know, Nick comes and goes. I almost feel like if you see Nick, he had good form last week. I almost feel like if you see him coming, he's kind of like Hideki. You're like, well, maybe that's not the time to play him. You know, Nick kind of sneaks up on you. He is a closer. I would love to see the putter just be a little bit better. I really feel like you got to focus on the putter and that wedge game. Nick also falls into that like Morikawa, Fleetwood, Henley, the guys in that range that are going to play more positional. They're going to have more bunkers to deal with off the tee than Rory and Cam and some of the bombers. I think over the course of 72 holes, I'd head with Sudarshan, or like I said, I'd head with the guys that have a little more ball speed off the tee.
Well, you know what we did for the Masters, Keith, here at Sports 1440? We had our first ever pick'em draft, and we all picked a one golfer and went in order. And unfortunately, the guy that sets this up with you all the time, the Duke of Delburne, Brandon Douglas, lost. So he had to take us out to one of the best Chinese buffet restaurants in Edmonton. And now we're going to do it again for the PGA Championship. So, but he gets first pick because he lost. Who do you think he should go with? And all it is, Keith, all it is you can't fit the guy that has the least amount of money, whatever. So if you missed a cut, obviously you're out. But maybe there's two guys that missed the cut. But we'll probably have six guys in this draft this time.
Well, I think that you'd be hard pressed. There's three at the top. So those three should definitely be the first three picks. And that's Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and Cameron Young. If they're all equal in my mind, then I'm going to go with the hometown kid. You look at Cameron Young's best ever performance in the PGA Championship was at Southern Hills in his first one. He came in tied third in 2022. Gil Hanse did the restoration there. His DNA, his fingerprint was on that golf course. Cam Young is now on his home agronomy, the grass he grew up on, being from over in New York City, just a little drive down here to Philadelphia. It's the same style of golf course, and Hanse did the restoration. Mm-hmm. So if there's some little nuance that suits Cam's eye between all of that, then that for that reason, Brandon, forever young.
Hey, Keith, as always, excellent stuff and great articles in Golf Digest and all your picks from Read the Line. Can't wait for tomorrow morning, and I think we get going here at about, as you said, with all the golfers. I think we're watching golf here, Edmonton time at 4:45 in the morning. I think that's
6:45 a.m.
Yep, 4:45.
And I can't thank you guys enough for having me on, and I look forward to Shinnecock Hills in about a month, my friend.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you then, Keith. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Keith Stewart from Read the Line, round number 1. Gets underway at the PGA Championship tomorrow morning. And again, 6:45 local 4. We'll be watching it when we'll have probably, by the time the show starts, we'll be watching the back 9 with some guys here for sure. News coming out of Toronto. Elliot Friedman, Chris Johnston, all the hockey insiders reporting that Craig Berube has been fired by the Toronto Maple Leafs. John Chayka, the new GM, sends out a post saying Craig is a tremendous coach and an even better person, says Chayka. The decision is more reflective of an organizational shift and an opportunity for a fresh start than it is an evaluation of Craig. We are grateful for his leadership, professionalism, and commitment to the Maple Leafs organization and wish Craig and his family nothing but the best moving forward. Imagine if Bruce Cassidy gets hired in Toronto. Holy cow. And then, could you imagine Craig Berube comes here? Holy moly. I say it in jest, though. But could you imagine? And Cassidy was one of the guys that was talked about in Toronto. And that's simple because it was, DeBoer was a guy before he signed, and then but Cassidy was on, in the conversation. So we'll bust that down. A little more NHL, maybe some Jays, and hey, some NBA. Big win last night for San Antonio. It's called coming up on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. And we are streaming now on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The sun's out, the pavement's warm, and that low rumble of a Harley rolling by? Oh yeah, that's calling your name. This is riding season, and if you've been thinking about a new ride, Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has the one that'll get your heart pumping. With a huge selection of new and pre-owned bikes, there's one waiting for you. Whether you're upgrading or just getting started. And while you're there, ask about test rides, because the only way to know is to ride it. For more details, visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980, or at hdedmonton.com.
I'm good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Divorce is never easy, but Fairway Divorce Solutions can help.
Their clear step-by-step process addressed all our issues, and we moved through the process quickly.
Fairway didn't take sides. They saved us money and heartache.
My ex, the kids, and I feel like we'll all be okay.
At Fairway Divorce Solutions, trained mediators and in-house lawyers will move your divorce process forward in a professional and efficient manner to achieve a fair resolution and separation agreement. Visit fairwaydivorce.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
At Metal Supermarkets, they're all about value added. In addition to a warehouse bursting with steel, aluminum, all the good stuff, and cut fast, they offer a ton of value added services: metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, welding, and back hair waxing. Oh, sorry, I meant plasma cutting. Anybody seen my glasses? Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... And value-added options, too, even delivery. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Millions and millions of Canadians do not have a doctor. We have a crisis. Canada's Medical Clinic is opening clinics across Canada to allow everyone to have a doctor to call their own. Early detection saves lives. We've got some great news. You can call now and book an appointment with your new doctor. Canada'sMedicalClinic.com. And more good news. Canada's Medical Clinic Windermere is also now a walk-in clinic. We'll see you there.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 743 in Edmonton. Man, Duke, we created a monster with SKS in this stupid golf draft. Well, what, like 15 posts already in the last 5 seconds, just with SKS deciding, and I got to do my pick later, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it was pretty much right on cue during the commercial break. You and I were talking after the conversation with Keith, and I basically said, like, I kind of almost feel obligated now to go with his pick, since I'll have first overall selection in our little in-house pool. Could not have been more right on cue. Phone buzzes in our Kevin's favorite thing, the group chat. And Sean saying he's shocker, not going to be in office today.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
First, well, I'm surprised it's a Wednesday. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, he's a lock to be here so he can come and rub shoulders with our bigwig co-hosts, Schlemmer and Laddie.
Yeah, he doesn't come in.
This is a very quick aside. Going back to the actual dinner or lunch we had at the buffet, how funny was it at some point that at one point, like Schlemmer straight up says, like, so what exactly do you do there?
Exactly.
Schlemmer's been co-hosting with us for 2.5 years. Sean comes in and talks to him every day.
Yeah, but he's been a sales guy for 30 some years.
And then Schlemmer just was like, so what do you do? What do you do at the station?
Yeah, what do you do?
But yeah, Sean, he's not coming in. So I said we're gonna wait until Schlemmer gets in. We'll do because the first 3 picks go me, Schlemmer, Josh, and then Eddie, Sean, and yourself. We'll round it out. So I think we'll kind of just roll it into one of our in or out topics for the day and do it with Schlemmer there ahead of tomorrow morning's tee off. Like you said, Kev, 4:45 Mountain Time. We'll be able to get it going. So that should make for a fun next couple days with the morning here in the studio.
Yeah, and the thing is, as Keith said, there's so many because it's the PGA Championship. You got the plumbers coming out, man. You got guys that are
play your way in.
You got guys like, this isn't as like the US Open is tougher.
Yes.
It's tougher.
The qualifiers are pretty intense to climb your way up those.
Yeah, but you can still qualify for the US Open. But the PGA Championship, there's club pros that get in and all of a sudden you go, who the hell is this guy? And to be honest with you, a lot of these club pros end up to be very good golfers on the Champions Tour.
Yes.
And they win on the Champions Tour. So text 833-401-1440. Greater Man Jay says, hey, morning, boys. Morning, guys. I'm just curious, what do you think the influence of the team core has on the owner to make a coaching change or even a manager change? And I responded, I said, I think it's a lot now. And that's everywhere. But that's what's happened in the NHL. Players hold almost all of the currency here. And just think, you can look at what happened in Toronto today with the firing of Craig Berube. I think it's kind of well documented that Berube and guys like Willie Nylander, and to an extent, I would assume Austin Matthews, weren't on the same page a lot of the time. I don't know. I would have assumed that Chris Knobloch and Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl would be on the same page here. Those guys, and even at the start of the year, like, remember when Chris Knobloch put them together and everyone's going like, what are you doing? Well, there were whispers, there was talk. Well, we want to play together. We like playing together. So to the greater man, Jay's point, I think it is a lot. You can get to the point of almost saying that the inmates run the asylum. 833-401-1440. Chris says, say what you want about Chayka. At least he handled this situation well, professional, respectful. Then he's got a question mark with Stan. Who knows? Maybe it's above Stan. And there's been whispers and talk about what kind of power Stan has had here, especially with Jeff Jackson. Like, what exactly is the protocol? What's the chain of command? I got texts and emails yesterday about talking in the sense that, Jeff Jackson, and look what Jeff Jackson did on July 1, which put a handcuff on Bowman with the 2 offer sheets because it happened after. Here's another quick one, and this is for you, Duke. Hey, Duke, Greater Man Jay, what's the deal with Trouba? Has he gotten soft since he moved to the West Coast? I expect him to be laying out people like the old Trouba. I don't know.
Still plays a physical game. The opportunities, and this might just be a way the Ducks play, like stylistically, the chances for those huge and hey, what do we often condemn the guy for the flying elbows and forearm shivering guys in glass. Hey, there's sometimes you want your team to play with that type of edge, but he's a veteran guy. He also doesn't want to be at least I wouldn't think, putting his team behind the 8 ball by taking penalties. He still plays physical. I think if you watch the game start to finish, you'll see that over the course of a contest. But yeah, he doesn't necessarily go out of his way to try and murder people anymore, which he had a little bit more of a reputation for in New York and in Winnipeg.
Just saw a stat come in just regarding Craig Berube, and we mentioned Austin Matthews. And I don't recall seeing this stat this year. And it's from Sportsnet Stats. And it's got Austin Matthews' percentage of ice time versus elite competition. This is via Puck IQ. Now, have you heard about this being broken down, Duke?
No, I don't think so.
First 8 seasons, so this is before Berube got there, 35% against elite competition. Under Berube, the 2 years that he was there, 47%. So Berube said, well, I want to match up with the best. And what happened? Matthews' play went down. His goal scoring went down. So I never saw that stat. I'm hoping it's correct, and it's via Puck IQ. And again, this came in from Sportsnet. So Matthew says, hey, KK, with your comments on the influence of the leadership core on management decisions, do you think they would have any appetite to move one of the core? I think they've tried, Matthew. I really do. I think that they, and again, if you think of who this core is, we know it's Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, then it's Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Darnell Nurse. And everyone knows that it's the Darnell Nurse conversation that has struck more of one of the core players leaving. You can't trade Zach Hyman because of what his contract is. And he scored 30 goals, missed a quarter of the year last year. Nurse's contract, everyone's talked about it for years. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and people can come down hard on RNH, and you can talk about what he offers to the club. But still, when you look at the contract, it's fairly team-friendly at just over $5 million. Next year, Zach Hyman, his full no move comes off the books. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 3 more years at 5.25. So, and next year, Zach Hyman's deal comes off as far as a fully no move. So everyone sees, so you're not trading Leon, obviously. You're not trading Connor until he says, I'm not signing here for, I don't care if he signs for 2 more years again. But until Connor McDavid says, I want out, you're not doing anything with him. So that core leadership group. And I guess if you want, you could throw Matthias Ekholm in there. I mean, he, like when you look at guys, when you speak after tough losses or games, Matthias Ekholm is one of the guys that gets drawn out because he's a leader. He's that type of guy. But at this stage of his career, is he a core guy? I don't know. So, to your question, Matt, that's where they would be looking. 7:53 in Edmonton. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. We'll check in with Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation. Also, before the 9 o'clock hour, another edition of Cam and Eggs. And I'll tell you what, Cam had a ball coming in studio yesterday when we had Orv Franchuk in. And man, oh man, we talked about Vladimir Guerrero yesterday with Orv Franchuk. And Orv was the batting coach, the hitting instructor in 2004 when the Boston Red Sox won the World Series. And he talked about the problems with Vladdy. And then I saw another thing yesterday. It was almost like the stars align. I'm in the garage, and up comes Harold Reynolds from the MLB Network, and he busts down Vladimir Guerrero's swing. And if you ever want, if someone can find this video, please do. It was broken down to a T. You couldn't have done it better. And it is night and day from last year when Vladdy was mashing, and not only last year, but this year when he was hitting well at the World Baseball Classic. It is night and day, and I cannot believe that the Blue Jays have not figured this out as far as their hitting coach and managers and everything like that. We'll talk to Mike Wilner about that at 9:20. David Schlemko will be by, our co-host for Cougar Paint and Collision at 9 bells. And then Casey Bryant, Everett Silvertips play-by-play man, will slide by at 10:20. The Tips win at 3-2 and take a 2-1 series lead in the WHL Best of 7 final. The winner off to the Memorial Cup. Prince Albert will get Dax and Rudolph, their top defenseman. They'll get him back for game number 4 tonight. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Breaking news out of Toronto this morning is the Maple Leafs, under new manager John Chaika, have elected to let go, part ways with head coach Craig Berube after 2 seasons with the team. Berube, Stanley Cup champion head coach with St. Louis back in 2019, went 84-62 and 18 in 2 years with the Leafs, winning the Atlantic Division last season, missing the playoffs this year. Last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Sabres get back in the series with the Canadiens, 3-2 victors from Montreal. That series now tied at 2 games apiece, and the Vegas Golden Knights take the first of the remaining best of 3 over Anaheim, 3-2 in overtime. Pavel Dorofoyev with the game winner for Vegas as they open up a 3-2 series lead. Off the ice, in case you missed it yesterday, Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy suspended 6 games for a slash on Sabres forward Zach Benson at the end of round number 1, came in the closing seconds of game 6 before the Bruins were eliminated. PWHL semifinal last night, Montreal, game-winning goal scored by Marie-Philippe Poulin to give the Victoire a 2-1 victory and a series victory. They'll move on to the Walter Cup final, where they'll play the awaiting Ottawa Charge. WHL finals, game 3 last night from Prince Albert. Everett comes back to win it 3-2 to open up a 2-1 series lead. And in the association lone game of the playoff scene last night, San Antonio bounces back in a big way, 126-97 winners over Minnesota. Victor Wembanyama, 27 points, as the Spurs now lead the best of 7, 3-2. Some sad news from the basketball world as well, as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born Clark was a first-round pick by Oklahoma City and subsequently traded to Memphis, where he played his entire 7-year career. In the majors yesterday, Toronto drops another to Tampa Bay. That's 5 straight losses this season, 7-6 in extras. Elsewhere, the Yankees top Baltimore 6-2. Boston falling to Philly 2-1, and the Seattle Mariners beat up on Houston 10-2. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1, saving you money with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2, water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Kreger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Hi, it's Dennis from Weiss Johnson, letting you know that we'll be hosting our 14th annual charity golf tournament at the ranch on June 2nd in support of the Edmonton Down Syndrome Society. So far to date, we have raised over $325,000 that goes directly to fund various programs for this amazing organization. With your help, we hope to make this our biggest and best tournament to date, all to support a worthy local cause. To join us, please email me today, info@weiss-johnson.com. I'll get right back to you.
Shake off winter and roll into spring. It's time to turn the season with Jiffy Lube. Until May 31st, visit any participating Jiffy Lube for a Pennzoil full synthetic oil change, and you could win some incredible prizes, like the grand prize spring kit featuring 2 Yeti mugs, wiper blades with install, gift cards, and more. You could even roll away with one of Jiffy Lube's Keeping You Moving mini prizes. Turn the season with Jiffy Lube and win. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca today.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Right now, you can get 0% financing on heavy-duty trucks. As old Nestor Pister would say, heavy-duty trucks. Finally, and 0% financing on half-tons too. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Well, it's always good to wake up to a Nestor Pister reference. What do they call him? The wine-stoned plowboy?
Yeah, that was the wine-stoned plowboy. Of course, that was what that was, is, a spin-off of the great Glenn Campbell's.
That's right.
Wine-stoned plowboy. Yeah.
Wow.
I told
he owned
did
the
I
basketball team. Didn't he own I covered that Skyhawks team. Isn't that the team he owned? He owned them, I think, part of them. He used to sing the national anthem because he was too cheap to pay someone else to.
Did I ever tell you, like, I did a story on him when this is a long time ago, because he was the starter at Lewis Estates, Nestor Pister.
Okay.
So I went there and I mic'd him up, and of course he's telling everyone jokes and, on the tee box and this and that. And then we went to his house because he lived in Lewis, and I get in there and I'm like, I looked out, we're down in the basement having a beer, and there's like 3 or 4 gold records on the wall. And, I'm like, what? This is pretty big. I know my mom and dad listened to him and everything else. And then the other one was he brought all his the Billboard Top 100 magazines, and like you'd have the Beatles at number 9, Elvis Presley was at 8, and up at number 6, Nestor Pister. I'm like, unreal. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. See, Craig Berube got it this morning.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Bruce Cassidy gets hired there?
Nah, that's not going to happen. They don't.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, sure, that would be something. I feel like they're into the Toronto Maple Leafs are a data-driven organization now. So their head coach will be probably younger, probably more, along the Sheldon Keefe, someone who's coming from a numerical background, I would say to you.
Let me ask you this question then, Spec. And I can't remember when he was in Detroit, Derek Lalonde, because he was an assistant under Berube this year. Yeah. Was he a big analytics guy in Detroit? I can't remember.
I mean, it's hard to know because they're all analytics guys. Hell, Chris Knobloch leans heavily on analytics.
Sure, he does. He's very,
and the points he makes. What I've always liked about Chris is he kind of when we talk and he talks analytics, he's not just cherry picking them to make some argument that he's trying to make. He's kind of more reactive to them. He says, well, the analytics are telling me this, so this is what we're trying to do. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I do find that the analytics thing can sometimes be an agenda, that analytics are always right or it's always the answer. And in fact, I found that Chris was less so. He was more like, it can be the answer, but it doesn't always have to be the answer. Smart guy. I would put him probably, maybe the Leafs will hire Chris Knobloch.
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, but it's remember that chat we had, and we brought it up a couple times. You, Maddie, and myself. It wasn't too long ago, and a lot of that was analytics, if you remember, about how.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You said it was the reactionary of what the information that's given to him. So that's what the coaches do. They put it in the plan to either prevent something or create something.
Well, one of the things you see, and I saw it a ton with the Habs last night, is, we always wonder nowadays how a guy is walking down the slot and he doesn't just take a shot at the goalie, but he passes to a guy off to the side. And you go, why are you, you're at a perfect angle for shooting and you're giving it to some guy on the edge who's at a bad angle for shooting. But we're watching team after team after team do that. And the reason is the goaltender analytics show you that the chances of, the percentage chance of beating a goalie one-on-one from 15 feet out is X, whatever it is. But it's a way higher percentage if you get that goalie moving. If you get him moving left to right, your percentage goes up 30% or something like that. And so, Chris explained that to us one day when we said, man, you're passing up a lot of shots. And he goes, well, the analytics tell you that if you pass that shot up and give it to a guy on the edge, he's got a better chance of scoring. And it's interesting. And he's not the only guy that thinks it, because you see it all over the league. Watch your hockey game tonight, folks, and watch that guy, skating down Main Street and passing to a guy standing over at the bottom of the circle. That's why they're doing it.
Well, I mean, look at the saves that UPL had to make last night, sliding across.
Oh boy, great saves.
So,
anyway, I mean, back to the Leafs. I'm not surprised that they're going to move on without Berube, but it's just another sort of era that passed. Like they've been trying hard to win there, and Berube came off that cup in St. Louis, and he was sort of the hard edge coach that was going to bring something new to that team and bring accountability and defensive play and maybe the edge that they didn't have to win in the playoffs. And you know what? The Berube, sadly for him, and he's a very good coach, but the Berube era ends there without more than one playoff win in a row.
There was two things, Spec, that we talked about just before you came on, and one of them was a thing that came out actually from Sportsnet Stats, which I know you keep tabs on. And I didn't see this, and I just saw it this morning, and I didn't see this last year. And this is from Puck IQ, and I know sometimes the stats are skewed a little bit, but this was to me quite a separation and quite a difference. So it said Austin Matthews' percentage of ice time versus elite competition. So his first 8 seasons was 35%. Under Berube, the 2 seasons were 47%. So that tells me that Berube wanted him to go against the other team's best players all the time, where the coaches prior said, well, we'll give you some easier matchups.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did we not see the stats change for Austin Matthews?
Well, I think they change for anyone the harder your competition is.
Sure.
For sure. But I also think that, listen, he's my first line center. If I'm Craig Berube, he's my best player. I can't shelter. You're not sheltering Connor McDavid. Sure, there's some tactical moves you might make to get him away from a particular, maybe you don't want him against Eriksson Ek when you're playing Minnesota at home. I get that, because he's an elite checking centerman. But over the course of the season, don't tell me, hey, I'm giving you this, all-star elite, one of the best goal scorers in the world here, but you got to shelter him all season long. Like, I can't win like that. My best guy has to be able to be better than their best guy, and he's not going to do that if I'm trying to shelter him all the time.
Mark Spector with us from Rogers Sportsnet. As far as the Oilers go and the total debacle of yesterday from all sides of this, not just here, but the whole entirety of both organizations, are we looking at by the end of this week? Does something clarify? Does the picture become not so ambiguous around here by the end of the week?
Well, I think it has to start with, you have to fire Chris Knobloch and show him the respect to set him out into the job market. Here, there's another job open as of 10 minutes ago, right? If you don't want Chris Knobloch, you made the decision not to keep him on. That's part of the business. Chris signed up for that. He knows the business. I've never met a coach. Well, I shouldn't say never. Almost never met a coach whose ending with an organization didn't end with being fired. Guys that walk away like Paul Maurice in Winnipeg. I mean, those are hen's teeth, man. You almost never see one of those. Everything, that's it. You sign up to get fired. That's how it works. So show them the respect here. If you're not going to keep them on, then fire them. Have the cojones to come out this morning, because the whole hockey world knows you're not keeping Chris Knobloch as your coach. And he's twisting in the wind and hanging there and being disrespected by the moment. So the Oilers owe it to Knobloch, frankly, to put that release out ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it happens today?
I'll tell you what, I think it should happen today.
Yeah.
If I'm working in that place and anyone asks for my opinion, we should be writing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it should come out before noon. Yes, I do. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised it didn't come out yesterday.
Yeah. Look, the faster, like PR 101, you've made a mistake. You've done something that's caused you a fair bit of embarrassment and poor PR. Get through it, get over it, move on. That's PR 101. Don't fire them on Friday and give us Wednesday and Thursday and half of Friday to talk about how dysfunctional things are.
Yeah.
Do it today. Start changing the topic and the narrative to who are they going to hire next? Who are they interviewing? Who are we seeing come to town? But right now, there's one thing to talk about with the Oilers organization, and that is how they misplayed, yesterday and what's going on around here. Who are they hiring? Why aren't they firing? Why do they look so dumb? That's what people are talking about. That's what you and me are talking about right now. You got to get past that, and you get past that by moving the ball down the road. It starts with firing your head coach and starting a new process here.
So yesterday, when you came on, it did, like Frank Cervelli put out that post at 6:45. We were just getting ready to, the final touches on the show here in the studio. After we talked to you at 8:00, and then you're saying, well, now, I'm not going golfing. I got to make some calls. I got to do an article. I got to do this. I got to do that. Did you find out anything? And I read your article too, but it was like, what? So you tried to get a hold of Stan and Jeff Jackson and no one called you back.
Yeah, no voices from the Oilers organization yesterday. I submitted, I got a note back saying, yeah, no one's talking today. So whatever, just so people out there realize, like a guy like me, they pay me to write about these things. I'm writing a column yesterday. All I'm looking for is as much accurate information as I can get. Mm-hmm. If someone in Oilers management wants to phone me back and say, Spec, you can't quote me, I'm not talking on the record, but here's a few things you should know to make you smarter. Here's a few things that you might not know that will probably change your article and make it more accurate. Mm-hmm. I accept that phone call. I accept that information. I'd rather have on the record quotes, but if that's all I get, that's all I get. Yeah. So when an organization doesn't phone anybody back and doesn't tend, have any, like, if they don't have a piece of unknown information that's going to disprove whatever Spec's writing or whatever Spec's talking about on the radio, that means it doesn't exist, frankly. If they see that Kevin and Spector are going down the wrong road, they want to correct that. They don't want to say bad things about them. I get that. Who would? Yeah. But if they don't phone you back, that tells you that you're right. And it tells you that the road you're going down is the right road. They screwed it up yesterday. They made a horrible mess of the Knobloch thing. And no one in that organization has told anybody any different at this point.
And the other thing, and I was thinking about like Chris Knobloch, and you're never going to meet a nicer guy. And all the coaches that have been through here, Spec, like, let's be honest, they've all been good guys.
They're good people, yeah, for sure.
They're all good guys. They've all been very accommodating, etc. And Chris is, at the top of that list.
Helped with our charities and stuff. Come to Sports Central dinners, things like that. Golf to my tournament once in a while, here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is just should be fair. Like, again, when you handle and treat people And people keep, like, we had tons of texts. Hey, it's a business. It's a business. But when you run a proper business, things like this don't happen.
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's a way. Any guy running a hydrovac service or a furnace company, it doesn't mean that you never fire anybody or you never relieve anybody.
Exactly.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. There's a way to do it. That's all. And,
You know, I remember totally off, like when Global fired John Sexsmith and how they handled it. And I said to the management, I said, listen, I understand where the business is going. I understand all that. But what you're doing, you're not speaking to the employees that are left here. You're showing them that you don't care. You don't care about anything. And I know the comparison isn't there. It's not the same. But you're not talking to a guy like John Sexsmith now. You're talking to the remaining 60 employees there that look and go, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah, right. An excellent employee goes out the door and we're hearing crickets. So listen, it is like this will unsettle the Oilers organization a bit for sure. Absolutely. And hey, listen, man, I mean, we're beating it to death. They didn't handle this well, but we're still in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing can go one of two directions at this point. It can get worse or it can get better.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see where it goes.
Did you get to meet your boys for chicken wings, Spec, after your
no, I got caught up with actually, thanks for reminding me. So I had a flat tire yesterday and I went to, so the truck's leaking air like crazy. It's like 4:45 in the afternoon. Go to Fountain Tire because they've always sponsored the Spec Classic real well. They're closed at 5. I miss them. So I whipped up to a trail up on the 118th there, right off, let's say about 120th Trail Tire.
Yeah.
Walked in there. Braden says, oh, man, we're closing. But he says, I got a guy. He'll help you out. Help me out. Fix my tire. Awesome people there. Gave the guy a big fat tip and walked out the door with a truck that worked.
Like $5? Like what? $5? Big bills on the outside or what?
No, really. Like he could have said, man, we're closed. Right.
Yeah.
And he said, you look like you're in a tough spot. So
let me just think. Okay, so you said you had a flat tire. So was it low or flat? And were you driving around?
Leaking air. I filled it up and started driving around. And as I'm driving, I'm watching the display and it's going down, 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 down. Right.
So, okay, when you got to the second place at, what'd you say it was?
Trail Tire on 118th.
You went to Fountain, great sponsor of ours at Fountain Tire. And then Trail, you get there. How much air was left in the tire?
I mean, enough I got there. I was actually talking to Jason. I got there and I don't know how much air was left. Enough, but it was going down. Like by 7 o'clock at night, it was going to be flat, If I put it in my garage, I would have had I wouldn't have been able to drive it this morning.
Did they say there was a nail in there or what?
A screw. Pick up a screw somewhere along the
Well, sweep the garage out once in a while, Spec, too.
Yeah. Anyway, those guys came to the rescue. They're good guys over there.
Here, I thought he was going to say that Shelka changed the tire.
Oh, yeah, no.
That I would like to see. Good stuff, Spec. I'm sure you'll be on high alert for the next few days as the week progresses. So we'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet on the Mark, brought to you by, fueled by Northgate Chevrolet. This truck's for you. Check them out at northgategm.com. Well, I mean, like you could have taken it to Northgate too. Mike probably would have helped them. It's Mike's vehicle. Like it's from Northgate, no? Like, I mean,
I don't know. Specs, maybe Spec wasn't as confident they'd be treating him with as much courtesy, but he's got a reputation. No,
wow.
I kid, obviously. I do know that a lot of dealership service departments close around 5 o'clock as well.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's the reality in which we live. Most businesses, they kind of wrap up their day around that time. And sometimes you're left standing there with not much to do, but what's in your hand. And you got to make do until the next day a lot of the time.
Well, I would have liked to see that guy's face there.
I just think of Spec, like these guys at Trail look after him and say, yeah, we're closing, but we'll get this taken care of. You're clearly in a jam. And then Spec's like, all right, kids, here you go. Buy yourself something nice. And he flips them like a quarter.
Yeah. $5.
Back in my day, you could see a movie on this.
Yeah. $5. Here's a tip. $5.
Yeah.
Big Bill's Kramer on the outside, right?
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll check in with Liam Hurlbin from Oilers Nation on the Kevin Karius Show. With the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Summer in Alberta means baseball debates.
Okay, best ballpark snack. Gotta be popcorn.
Nah, it's nachos, hands down.
Nah, you're both wrong. It's mini donuts.
But when it comes to beef jerky, there's no argument.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The only snack every fan agrees on. Grab some for your next ballpark outing.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Do you have neck or back pain? Ever go for treatment hoping for a simple fix only to realize your stubborn spine is basically a science project with attitude? Hey, we get it. And honestly, we're a little sorry because great rehab does take proper experimenting. But at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we don't just toss exercises into the beaker and hope it doesn't explode. We start with the right diagnosis, then mix hands-on care, precise manual therapy, and evidence-based technology. The formula your body actually needs. Science and skill with gratitude, not attitude. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 823 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440. Old Joshy's boy done an unbelievable job. There's 5 cameras and a whole bunch of wire out here on the desk here in our Sports 1440 studios at West Edmonton Mall. And 1 camera's working? That's right. I see a red light. It's good. 2 cameras are working, Josh says, but things are shaping up nicely. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing. The only team you want in your corner when things get messy. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Liam Hurlbin from Oilers Nation. Good morning, Liam. You're with Kevin Karius. As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Good morning, Kevin. Five cameras are really trying to capture you from every angle there, hey?
Reminds me of my global days when we had, all the robotics going on in the studio, Liam. And actually, before that, there used to be a guy on every camera. or a woman sometimes. Well, maybe there wasn't. I think they were just cameramen. But there was there was 3 or 4 cameras, and then you had a floor director too.
I
And then by the end, there was no one in the studio.
No one.
And then you did your own prompter.
I remember once we went there for when I went to Nate and we were doing like a tour of the studio and everything. I knew it was all green screen, but I was pretty blown away by like how much of it really was, and like the way they did the weather and everything was pretty wild, to be honest.
When they put that studio in, Liam, it was one of the most state-of-the-art studios in North America. It was ahead of its time, and now a lot of people have gone that way, as far, because this is a long time ago. But you're right, and the weather's always been a green screen, but it was more about the news desk and everywhere else where you could superimpose your talent over whatever background you wanted. The technology was phenomenal. And I remember the very first few days of it, you'd look at the monitor and you'd go, where am I? And honestly, because in the background, all there was just totally green and the whole studio. And then as you said, when guests would come in, they'd look in and they go, well, this isn't what I see on TV. So,
right.
So that was when you were like, because you were down south before when you came up here. No, you were always here.
Yeah,
So,
no, I went to Nate and we did do just a tour through the studios and kind of how it was all set up and everything. We did the morning show. So Shay was there and a few other people, of course, too. But yeah, it was really cool. And if I remember correctly, don't they have like almost like a track where the camera kind of trails through, right? It was really cool setup. I was surprised by what I saw.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Did you have to wake Ganem up in the morning there or not?
No, if I remember, he came barreling through one of the doors and almost hit someone on the other side of it. So he did need a bit of a wake up. He woke someone else up that morning, that's for sure.
Piece of work, yeah. Speaking of wake up, maybe that's what the Oilers organization and Vegas, for that matter, need a bit of a wake up here. How this was handled in the last 24 plus hours.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like a bit of a prisoner to the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. Just sat there, still waiting for the news to drop on Chris Knobloch a little bit. And I'm sure, like many people, when I saw the report from Frank, I scrolled down my timeline a little bit further. I was like, well, where's the Chris Knobloch news? And it just never came. It's obviously yesterday was a very interesting day. I have a lot of thoughts on it. It's very. Obviously, it sucks that Knobloch has been put into this situation. And I'm curious what you would think, because I think on one side of it, the Oilers' name is kind of getting dragged a little bit here. And of course, like they've treated one of their employees really poorly. But on the other side, it's the Vegas Golden Knights, who we call ruthless all the time and do whatever it takes to win Stanley Cups and make their team better. And it's like, well, in this case, isn't that what the Oilers are kind of doing as well to an extent? I mean, Chris Knobloch got this job on the same day that Jay Woodcroft was fired. And I know that was in the regular season, but I do think this is the business of hockey, and it's a ruthless game. And if you're in it, you probably know you're going to get fired one day, and it doesn't always come in a pretty manner. But I just think the Oilers, they told us all they were going to go through a full evaluation of things. Clearly, they're still going through that evaluation, and things just got a little bit messy. But I think if they were to get Bruce Cassidy as a head coach, it's probably the right move to make.
Maybe he's going to go to Toronto now after Berube gets canned here.
Yeah, not the fire and news I was expecting this morning, to be honest. The Toronto thing is interesting. I don't know if he would go there based off the situation that apparently he wants to go win more hockey games than lose them, of course, and like try and win Stanley Cups. And maybe Toronto's not quite in that spot yet, especially if they lose Matthews this summer, which I would assume they probably don't, but the fact it's out there is interesting as well.
Liam Hurlman with us on Sports 1440. So Knobloch's going to be the fall guy here. But if you were to put responsibility just on this last season, because I think if you were going to say, we're happy with what this coach did getting us to 2 Stanley Cup finals, how could you not? I mean, they're a goal away from, sending Game 7 overtime in his first run. But if you're going to put responsibility, a percentage of blame this last year, is it 25% on Knobloch? Is it 35% on management? Is it 30% on players? 15 on goalie? 20 on goalie? 25? Like if you were doing some sort of a algorithm and some mathematics here, Liam, and you were busting it down, what would you say?
Yeah, we've kind of gone through this as well on our shows, and I do think it's difficult to break everything down and put so much blame on one guy than the other. I mean, it always should start with the guy at the top, right? Like Bowman put this team together, I would assume in collaboration, obviously with Knobloch too, and too many guys didn't work out. But then you look, it's like, well, they got Roslovic, and I just found throughout the season, the Oilers just never got a grip on it, right? There was never a moment until after the trade deadline, to be honest, is when what they have a 5-game win streak, I think it ended up getting to. And it felt like they were getting a little bit something, and obviously the injuries overcame them in the playoffs, and we all know that story. So I put most of the blame on Bowman, just for the sense of he picked the team. These players should have performed better. I would then put it on Knobloch, I would think, and then on the players as well. I think one thing that's very interesting is, and I go back to Jari a lot on our show, and he's obviously a very controversial figure, Kevin. I'm not sure if you knew, but he had a 909 save percentage come into Edmonton with Pittsburgh. I think it was about 14, 15 games, whatever. Obviously, he came to Edmonton, had those couple of games before he got injured, played really solid. Everyone was happy with the trade at the moment, and then just like completely fell off a cliff, and he went down to an 858 save percentage just in Edmonton. I think it was 18, 19 games, something like that. It's like,
you're bang on 858.
Well, why did that happen? You know, and I know it was on Jari as well. Like, he didn't play great, but like, why did it go so poorly for him here, where like those numbers aren't even close to what he did in Pittsburgh at the start of the season to how he finished in Edmonton? So, well, doesn't that just tell you the environment that he came to and how poor it actually was here for goalies? And I think Ingram did perfectly fine, obviously, throughout the season. And when you look at the advanced numbers on Jari, they weren't great, but they weren't as terrible as like his overlaying numbers came out. So I just think the environment in Edmonton seemed to just get sour, and nothing was clicking throughout the season. So I do think that is a lot to blame on Knobloch. And I've said this on our show too, is like, I think the year before when they went to the Cup finals, like, maybe that was a bit of an overachievement, and this season getting knocked out in the first round was obviously a massive underachievement. So probably the last couple of years lie somewhere in the middle there. So to take the long road on your answer, on your question, I put most of the blame on Bowman, then Knobloch, and then the players.
See, I think I'm a little more the players, maybe a little more even Steven with Knobloch, and you can talk about how he tried to implement certain things. But in the end, as I've said, this will be the 1,475th time until the players buy in with the amount of passion and emotion and attention to detail defensively as they create offense. The team's never going to win the Stanley Cup. It's just not gonna.
No, 100%. And defense, I mean, it's the most common saying, right? Like, defense wins championships, and this team should know that. And I thought one thing that was interesting from the end of year media conferences was when Draisaitl spoke about, was like, our team wasn't close to the 2024 team, which is fair enough. Like, we can all probably see that ourselves. But the 4 players he named, what was it? It was like Fogle, McLeod, CC, and Desharnais. And it's like, well, those 4 guys like weren't huge contributors to that run in that season, like especially Fogle and McLeod. They kind of fell apart a little bit offensively and had the defensive side of the game. But that's kind of the point I think he was making, is like those 4 guys were like defensive focused players, and that's what helped them get to the next level on that run. I just think Edmonton needs to find those guys again. I do wonder if they're missing a bit of character, like in the sense of on ice character, I think is what I'm trying to say. Is like, you think of that playoff run, the 6 games they played against the Anaheim Ducks, it was so lifeless. And I know Trent Frederick, they want him to be that guy, but like, I wonder if this summer they should look for some players who like really don't care what happens on the ice and have a bit of attitude about them. Like, I think of Corey Perry obviously being a guy, is like, would they have any interest in bringing him back? Like, I don't think AJ Greer is going to be paid what he should be paid this summer, but like, he's a guy who brings a lot of attitude to the game. And even what was his name? Nick Cousins was voted the most punchable face a few years ago. It's like, well, what if they had that kind of attitude on their 4th line, and it maybe brought a bit of spark to the team and some excitement as well? And I just wonder if they would identify that as well this summer.
See, I think they were starting to achieve that. But then like after game 1, when like Frederick had a decent game 1, but after that, not noticeable. So not noticeable, he came out of the lineup. And when he was playing with Doc down the stretch, and they had the ability to, all that stuff that you're talking about, they were hard to play against. And that, I think that was the start of trying to achieve something on the fourth line. It had the start of an identity. And then guys were hurt. And then again, Frederick fell off the cliff from what he needed to do and contribute. So,
Yeah, he definitely did. And I mean, it's back-to-back seasons now. The Oilers season has come to an end with, a player like Arvidsson the year before. Now Frederick sat in the box for the last couple of games. And I agree. And I wonder too, like they were playing a little bit with Frederick, weren't they? Henrik, sorry, and Szymanski as well in moments down the stretch. And then I just think too, like in the playoffs, maybe to go against my own point, there was just so many injuries. It was like so difficult to find a bit of rhythm that they just weren't able to find their full identity. But this summer, obviously, is just so crucial in every move that they make. And I think with every move, there's another obvious thing, but they need to get a percentage better with every one. And just to go back to obviously the big story, like I think Bruce Cassidy probably gets the best out of everyone and has the defensive identity and also the achievement too. Like I know he's been to the same amount of cups as Knobloch, but he won one of them, and that's the advantage he would have over someone like Knobloch right now in Edmonton. So we'll see. It's already, we're not even really in the summer. We've not made it past May long. It's supposed to be 8 degrees on the weekend, Kevin.
It's terrible. Terrible.
I know, and now we're already in like coaching conversations.
Yeah. Hey, Liam, I watched the PA Everett game last night, and obviously with your ties to Penticton, PA's given him a go. Everett, I thought was a step ahead of him in the back half of the game for sure, but I think PA can hang in there. If they can get a bounce or two, they can send this, and if tonight's game is game 4, if they can win tonight, she turns into a best of 3. So I don't know. Did you get some eyeballs on that game last night?
I've seen it a little bit here and there. I think that missing Dax and Rudolph was obviously significant for PA yesterday too. I think you only got 1 game, right? So he should be back for whenever game 4 is. So yeah, PA, I mean, they're a really solid team. They've drafted so well over the past few years, and obviously a couple of trades here and there as well. But that Everett team, I think I said it last time I was on, is just they are layer after layer of offense. Like their fourth line is a first-round pick on it in Dufour. I think he's still down on the fourth line. So they're the team to beat. But Prince Albert, I mean, that bar, the Art Hauser there, that is a tough rink to go and play in. There's a lot of atmosphere. I went there once for a Prince Albert Mintos game, which is a U18 team, and there was even a bit of buzz in the building for that game on a random Friday night. So those fans get up for it up there, and it's an exciting place to go.
It's an absolute nut house in there. I worked in Prince Albert for 2.5 years or so and covered the Raiders, and they were having a tougher go back then because they were in a rebuilding cycle. But it wasn't called the Art Hauser back then. Art was still kind of on the board and working for the team, and he did everything. He was an usher. He did everything on the board and stuff like that. So. Hey, good stuff as always, Liam. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and maybe something drops with the Oilers today or tomorrow. We'll see what shakes down.
We'll see. Just don't do it on the weekend. I'm going away, so I don't want to be part of anything.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Nordegg for a bachelor party this weekend. That's the beauty of of no playoffs right now. There's nothing restricting me. I'm a free man again.
You mean a bachelor party?
Yeah, I nice little cabin
anymore. Those are long gone.
Bachelor pies?
Yeah.
Well, they've been long gone for me the past 2 summers. I've missed so many of them because this team keeps winning hockey games. So yeah. There was a blessing and a curse that they were knocked out in round 1, I guess you could say.
Where are you staying, at the Nordegg Hotel?
No, we just rented a cabin. So my buddy is he's actually like half Australian. So I got a cricket set for my birthday last month. So I'm taking out there, and all the boys are going to have to learn how to play cricket, and they're going to be chasing my ball into the bush when I smack them out for 6.
Good for you. Thanks, Liam. As always, have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble. And if you need bail money, send it to the Duke.
Sounds good, guys. See you later. Duke, you'll be hearing from me.
Yeah, Liam Monroe and Oilers Nation, our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Reuter, knocking your plumbing problems out of the park. That's mrreuter.ca. Well, Duke, we were wrong about Braden McNabb. He's going to have a hearing. Braden McNabb's going to have a hearing today for his interference against Anaheim's Ryan Poehling.
Doesn't guarantee a suspension. Could still just be a fine, which I like. Listen, it is.
I thought
in real time, Kevin.
Yeah.
Like that's a car crash type of hit because Paling never even touched the puck.
No, it's
it's 2 feet behind him, and it wasn't a bang play like McNabb tracks him clear across the ice and whomps him, and he's got like Paling has a history of concussions. I know that doesn't necessarily play a factor here, but he was clearly injured on the play. The hit itself is not like he hit him up high or bridged him or anything like that. It was just like the puck's nowhere close to him, and he's clearly not expecting a hit as a result, and took the brunt of it off the glass. Like I said, if he's going to be unavailable for Anaheim, that's a big blow for them. And for if McNabb does end up facing supplementary discipline, that's bad for Vegas. This is a top 4 guy that's eating 20 plus minutes a night.
Who comes in then?
Who went out when Ben Hutton drew in? Trying to think, because Hutton was not playing at the start of these playoffs. Trying to remember.
Maybe Korzak comes in.
I would think so. Yeah.
Dylan Coughlin.
Coughlin's already playing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you just said who came in. So, it would be probably Korzak. Wow. Yeah, that would be a big blow, and that's good for your Ducks, Duke, if he gets a game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see it, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just think the fact that the ejection happens so early, he essentially gets a full game already. I think a fine would be sufficient, but I mean, we've seen some pretty egregious hits in the playoffs go unpunished up to this point.
Wow. See, here's the other thing. I mean, I thought the Charlie Coyle suspension was a little hot. I mean, he did tomahawk him. Yeah.
McAvoy.
Yeah, what did I say?
Coyle.
Oh, Charlie McAvoy. Sorry.
Yeah, 6 games.
Like I thought, okay, well, that's a lot of games.
He didn't he obviously gets him up high,
Sure.
but it's not like he slashed him in the neck, in the face. He gets him on the arm, like on the shoulder.
I understand it's playoffs, and it's years ago. Petrangelo's on Leon. What's the big difference? Is it more?
I think it's just
premeditated because he kind of skated.
Tracks over to him and retaliation, and I think it matters that he's the level at which he swings his stick, even if because Petrangelo's got over the top coming down on the wrist.
Yeah,
McAvoy hits him in the chest with a slash. So it was the intent was pretty obvious what he's trying to do. But yeah, 6 games is a lot.
I thought it was. I thought it was a couple too many more, but whatever. When we come back, we'll get to more of your text 833-401-1440. I guess we'll do an edition of Cam and Eggs with Cam Tate. All straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Mr.
Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's game to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. Get in the game.
Since the 1930s, the Dorchester name has been synonymous with chuck wagon racing in Alberta. And now, it's just as well known for golf. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is open for the season. A challenging 18-hole course nestled in the rolling coulees of central Alberta. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
The puck is passed up through the neutral zone, and here's a breakaway. He's coming in hot. He shoots it. Oh no, a broken stick.
When it comes to performance, quality parts matter. Napa Auto Parts has all the reliable parts, tools, and more to keep your vehicle running like a playoff contender. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. Is that a dedication to Liam Harobin and his bachelor party in Nordegg, Duke, or kiss the name?
No, that wasn't the intent. It's more so just our usual theme of something to do with mornings or breakfast or along those lines for Cam and eggs.
I got you. Well, Sean texted, and how does one get exotic dancers out to Nordegg for this event, this bachelor party? I don't know. Well, I'm sure they've got that figured out by now.
Listen, I just said it to you guys in the break. If the couple stags I've been to find a way to get exotic dancers out to Cumberland Hall, Collins Hall, Great Bend Hall in the rural areas of Delburne, Red Deer County, then I think you can probably get them.
Wow.
You can get them to travel almost anywhere. It's just all about the Skrilla.
I don't remember. The last stag I think I was at was Chopper Lopatinsky's, and it was in Vegas. The only time I've been to Vegas.
Really?
Yeah. But there was not like, we just had some suppers and played.
Then you just went to the strippers.
I never went. There was about 20 guys. I never went.
But they just went to an actual club.
I don't know. I never went.
Then how? Well, you just said the last time you went to the strippers.
No, I said last stag I went.
Oh, stag. Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't like it. I didn't think it was anything to go to. We were having more fun at the blackjack
tables.
Well,
people will poke holes in you and I here. I'm right in the same line of thing with you, Kev. Like, if I'm going to waste my money,
yeah,
I would prefer to do it at a spot where I maybe at least have a chance of getting it back, and that in the form of the casino.
Yes.
And I love gambling. It's fun, and you're always going in with the expectation that you're leaving with none of the money you show up with. When it comes to the rippers, yeah, I don't know. It's not really not really my
never
scene.
really interested.
I've been plenty of times, and stags and all this stuff. It's fine. You can have some fun there, but not. I would definitely prefer just to go to the casino or somewhere else.
You know what? I'm not going to say it on air, but about 30 years ago, Gord Steinke and I and my dad went with a friend, the Jaybird. I don't know why we went, but it was like
here in town.
Yeah, it was 30 years ago, and
Where'd
tell
you go?
I can't remember. Maybe Diamonds. I don't know.
R.I.P. Diamonds.
Yeah. Anyway, but I'll tell you that story later, Duke, because it's quite funny. My dad had one of the best all-time lines in history. You know what? I can't wait for until the NFL season starts. The whining and the bitching and the complaining from Montana to Rice. Now that the schedule is basically out, and the 49ers will travel the most miles out of any team, 38,000 miles. The most, and they've got 2 games where they got one in Melbourne, and then they got another one in Mexico City, I believe. The Rams are next for the most miles traveled in 2026. They're at 34.8. Your Texans, Duke, are at 3. And I don't know if they're playing who they're playing wherever, but the Cowboys are at 4. So the 2 Texas teams are 3 and 4 for miles traveled, expected miles traveled. And I mean, I understand how it works here, but excuse me. When you look at the 49ers, and yes, they got to go to Melbourne. Mexico City's not crazy far, but the Panthers are last at 8,700. So their travel schedule is 8,700, so 30,000 miles less of air travel coming up in the NFL season.
Just really quickly on the Panthers, I saw this. I'm just trying to see if I can bring it up exactly. The Carolina teams and total playoff wins in the last 10 years. 10 years. 3 Big 4 sports franchises out of Carolina or North or South. Panthers 2, Hornets 3, the Hurricanes 55. So they're putting in some work on behalf of both North and South Carolina. Did you know that the Panthers logo is an outline of both North Carolina and South Carolina put together?
No.
I learned that on a little Instagram video I saw.
I'm going to punch it up and have a look.
It's a little bit of a reach, but yeah, it's the only NFL logo that's actually the outline of the state.
Well, we better get to another edition of Cam and Eggs. Yesterday, he was in studio, and it was great. He talked to Or Franchuk after for 15, 20 minutes after we were off the air, too. And Cam, I think, and Or we're going to get together in a project or two. So here's another edition of Cam Tate's Cam and Eggs.
Cam and Eggs, Order 27, May number 13. Think of the T-ballers, those tiny bobbing helmets, spirits high and socks falling down. It's a glorious, disorganized ballet. You've got a runner heading for second, a shortstop investigating a ladybug, and a coach who is part tactician, part cheerleader, and full-time saint. It is chaos. It is comedy. It is the very soul of a Saturday morning. But beneath the laughter, there's a heartbeat. It is a magnificent polysyllabic mess, isn't it? While the high priests of the digital age spent the winter delivering a funeral oration for the slow game of baseball, the youth of Edmonton were busy staged a full-scale insurrection. The numbers aren't just up, they are an arithmetic landslide. 18%. That is the surge hitting our local diamonds. From the grass at Confederation Park to the bustling hives of Castle Downs and Rundle, the city is practically bursting at the seams. We've seen a 25% explosion in the rally cap ranks. 5-year-olds, mind you, who have decided in their infinite wisdom that a dusty glove is infinitely more rewarding than the flickering soul drain of a smartphone. The real logistical tidal wave that has left local organizers breathless. Saskatchewan. Early figures show a 15% increase province-wide, with approximately 12,000 registrations. In Saskatoon specifically, overall registration is up 13%, over 2,500 kids. The 11 and under division saw a massive 22% jump. Prince Albert Minor Baseball set an all-time record with 325 registrations, forcing some divisions to close early due to high demand. British Columbia. Saanich Little League registrations jumped 19.5% in a single year, climbing from 1,138 in 2025 to 1,362 in 2026. The Hampton Little League Association specifically saw a 31% increase. They call it the Blue Jays bump, a lingering fever from that 2025 autumn magic. But look closer. We've had to conjure the Central Alberta Wolves out of thin air just to handle the overflow. We are, quite literally, out of dirt, out of fences, out of jerseys. It is a logistical catastrophe of the most glorious kind. A nation and a city rediscovering that there is more drama in a 3-2 count than in any algorithm ever devised by the Silicon Valley set. The diamonds are full, the bats are cracking. The experts were wrong. Imagine that. Back this afternoon with the only guy who argued 60 minutes is a half-hour show. Jason Greger. Cam and Eggs. This is Cam Tate. Sports 1440.
Thanks, Tater. I forgot to tell you, Duke, you know Matt and Leduc, who texts in quite frequently, Matt and Leduc. He sent me an email to our Sports 1440 email yesterday during Orv Franchek's interview. And he's got, he's working on an algorithm, just like Tater was talking about there. It's a new baseball metric idea talking about net offensive value, or as he calls it, NOV or NOV. And he's got positive outcomes, negative outcomes. It rewards players. And I think basically what this is another take on WAR and WAR replacement. He goes, first of all, he says this was way too long to text. So he's been working on this for a while. So I don't know if it's a viable analytic or not. I have no idea. And sorry, I didn't give it to Orv yesterday, Matt, but you basically got to be Matt Damon from Goodwill Hunting to figure this out. Anyway, appreciate the email, big fella. And thanks as always for listening. Coming up top of the hour, we got David Schlemko, our co-host on Wednesdays for Cougar Paint and Collision. Mike Wilner from the Toronto Star and the Deep Left Field podcast will check in. The Tampa Rays are smoking hot. They just beat the Jays for fun. That was win number 5 in a row over the Jays. They'll try to salvage something tonight in this series finale. And then Casey Bryant, Everett Silvertips play-by-play man, will check in at 10:20. It was a hell of a game 3 last night. Game 4 goes tonight in Prince Albert. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. That's 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoff action last night. The Sabres even their series with the Canadiens. 3-2 victors. Tyler Benson scoring the game-winning goal. That series now knotted at 2 apiece, heading back to Buffalo. In the nightcap, Vegas winners in overtime, 3-2 over Anaheim. Pavel Dorofeyev netted the game-winning tally. Vegas now with a 3-2 series lead. In case you missed it earlier this morning, Maple Leafs and new general manager John Chaika announcing the dismissal of head coach Craig Berube after 2 seasons with the team. Stanley Cup champion in 2019 with St. Louis. Berube went 84, 62, and 18 with the Buds winning the Atlantic Division last season. And from yesterday afternoon, Boston Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been suspended 6 games for his slash on Zach Benson at the end of their first-round matchup, closing seconds of Game 6 in the first round in which Boston was eliminated. PWHL playoff semifinal last night. Montreal gets the game winner from who else but Marie-Philippe Poulin to take it 2-1 and win the series over Minnesota. They'll advance and take on the Ottawa Charge in the Walter Cup final. WHL finals from Prince Albert last night. The Silvertips come back to win it 3-2 and take a 2-1 series lead in the association. Victor Wembanyama bounces back in a big way. 27 points lifts the Spurs to a 126-97 victory that gives San Antonio a 3-2 series lead. And some sad news from the NBA as well, as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. Neither the Grizzlies nor Clark's agency provide any details about his death. Clark, the Vancouver-born player, was a first-round pick in 2019, spent his entire 7-year career with Memphis. Finally, Edmonton Elks training camp news. Team making a number of cuts this morning, as well as announced the signing of their first-round pick from this spring's draft, 6'2", national linebacker Daryl Jabome. In the majors yesterday, Blue Jays drop another one to Tampa Bay. That's 5 straight now at the hands of the Rays. 7-6 in extra innings. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by our Wednesday co-host, former NHL defenseman David Schlemko. I'm Brandon Douglas, Sector Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
A lot of you love hockey season. But when it comes to construction season, You're not as excited unless you work for GS Construction. It's true. As one season is winding down, ours is winding up with all sorts of great projects to make the city we live in better. And our team is hiring. GS Construction is scouting for pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. So if you want to score a great job, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Games Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post workout. Way Too Good and Green Games Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
May brings more of what you're looking for at Wolf GMC Buick. The selection never better. The savings up to $12,000 when you combine cash discounts on your new 2026 Sierra 1500 pickup. Up to $1,750 in cash rebates on remaining 2025 Terrain SUVs. Plus 0% financing up to 72 months on most models. And ask about the truck trade-in bonus of up to $1,500 on select new in-stock Sierra 1500s.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the game live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Everybody loves a beautiful day in Edmonton. Hey, it's Jamie, and Green Drop Lawn Care is giving you one more reason to love the nice weather. Next Nice Day service. People always ask, how soon can Green Drop get here? Well, when you sign up with Next Nice Day service, we'll be there by tomorrow. Assuming Mother Nature cooperates, we'll be fertilizing and treating your weeds by the very next day. We'll even include Drought Fighter at no additional cost. Just another reason we have been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Easy online signups only at greendrop.com.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program 903 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick with you here on a Wednesday morning. That means our co-host has arrived for Cougar Paint and Collision, David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, where family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. Good morning, Schlemmer.
Morning, KK.
Well, pretty wild couple of days around here and pretty wild playoffs. I watched a lot of that Western League game last night. I don't know.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance. I was ninja night for me, so I had to come home and watch two NHL games.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll get to that. And your guy that you were talking about, you think is going to be the best defenseman in the draft, Dax Rudolph, he didn't play.
Yeah, I think that hurt him a little bit on the shot clock there last
I
night.
think so too. Yeah, they gave up some shots, but I think that they can play with it. Everett looked like they were just a step ahead the last half of the game. I thought PA was pretty good earlier.
Yeah,
but goaltending was good, and they got there's so many cool connections, like Steve Kelly's son, who the Oilers drafted years ago, and he played for the Raiders when I covered Steve Kelly there in the early '90s, and now his son's playing for the Raiders. Fernando's son is playing, so Fernando Pisani. So there's so many cool stories that are there.
Yeah, they got a good club.
Yeah,
they've drafted well.
Yeah, and I mean that barn. You played in there lots.
I play there in the playoffs, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's just such an intimate rink, and I think they're building another one right now.
Oh, are they?
You know what? I'm not sure on that. We'll have to check on that. But I have heard that it's in the works.
Okay.
Because Prince Albert's a pretty big city.
Yeah,
and this is
not a huge barn.
No, it's like attendance last night was sold out, and I got the number here too. I just want to make sure on it. 3,299, so 3,300.
They still got the air horns going in there. When we played in the playoffs, it's like deafening. You couldn't even hear yourself think out there.
Well, and the other, like the press box back then, and maybe they fixed it because I haven't been in there for 30 some years. I mean, you're taking your life into your own hands. It's going up there. Like, it was just okay. We're moving around a bit. There was one. Did you ever play it? You probably wouldn't have. At Rutherford Arena in Saskatoon.
No, it was just in the new barn.
Yeah,
the worst atmosphere in the league.
Oh yeah, and it was the Credit Union Center, right?
Yeah.
The old building in Saskatoon was pretty nifty too, because it was all the old timbers up top.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of like in Regina. Regina was Exhibition Stadium, I think, or something like that. But yeah, there was an old story from Regina. It's kind of funny, and he actually billeted at our house. His name was Morley Watson. He went on to be first or second chief of FSIN.
Okay.
Anyway, he was a native guy, and he came from the reserve, and I'm still friends with Morley. But he scored a goal, and he did a big whoop, and like he's just going bananas, and he threw his gloves in the air, and one of them landed on the rafters. And they had to bring the big ladder out and this would be like a massive ladder, like probably 40 some feet, 50 feet, because that's what they used to change the light bulbs.
Go knock the glove off.
Yeah, they had to go up there and go knock the glove off.
That's great.
Oh, it's funny. Hey, we were just talking about the game last night, the Ducks and Vegas, and he missed most of the game because he got the 5 in the major. But Braden McNabb's having a hearing today for his interference 5-minute major on.
Oh, he's got a hearing.
He's got a hearing. Yeah, it just came down probably when you were driving.
Interesting.
Ryan Paling. So he left, and he saw he was wobbly.
Ooh, yeah, that's a concussion protocol.
So I don't know, like even you can have a hearing, but I think if he's having a hearing, he's getting something here.
Oh, he's getting suspended.
Yeah,
he's having a hearing.
You think he's having 1 or 2? Is it?
I think he's getting at least 1.
Yeah.
It's I mean, hockey's a fast game, but it wasn't that fast of a play. Like the puck was gone for a while, and the fact that he didn't actually touch it at all, I think he's going to sit for at least a game.
Yeah. So I thought because of he left when that was like 12 minutes in or something like that.
Yeah, it was early.
So I thought maybe that's the game that he
gets.
You know how they always say if that happened at the end of the night, you're getting the game. But if it's at the beginning of the game,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it always looks worse when you slow it down. They show it in slow motion like 8 times in a row. But I mean, when you look at where the puck is in slow motion, like the other Anaheim guy's he's already like snapping it up the ice when Paling gets hit.
15 feet away, it seemed. 15 feet away. But I mean, Anaheim, I think Anaheim can get this series back.
Oh, yeah.
For
I think so too. I mean, I thought they were the better team again, like the first kind of half of the game. And it's like we've been talking about every week, it seems, just like about the Vegas Golden Knights as the game goes on. And it seems like they get more comfortable. It happened 2-3 times in the Utah series. It looked like they weren't the better team. They were down, and then they somehow just find a way to grind back into games and find a way to get the win.
Buffalo and Montreal last night. So the power plays, and there could have been another half dozen.
Missed a few high sticks out there.
Sticks and this butt end of the chops and this and that. Accidental, but still it's your stick. What do we have? There were 11 power plays, 1 for 7 Montreal. Montreal had a 4-minute.
It wasn't very good.
They were bad.
Yeah.
So
I thought they were good last night, like overall as a whole, maybe not in the power play, but I thought they played well enough to win that game.
Well, UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was really good.
He's good.
Sliding across.
Stanchion bounce is pretty tough.
Yeah, we never mentioned that. Yeah, so Tage Thompson, that's the second goal. Ties it at 2. I mean, but you got to get a bounce here and there. That's the craziest bounce that we've seen.
That is. I like Kelly Rudy was a little hard on him at the intermission too. Like, this is your home rink. Like, you gotta know. I mean, it's not like he was out like behind the net waiting for the rim. I thought that was just a really tough bounce.
I did. Yeah, I never heard that because I was switching over to the WHL game.
Oh, okay.
So, elephant in the room here, and the Oilers yesterday, and this Frank Cervelli broke this. I hope you're up to speed on it. So
I watched your little clip and I watched Frank yesterday.
Yeah, so 6:45 that came out, and now everything starts, gaining legs, as we call it in the business, get some steam going. So if you, as a former player, say you're on this Oilers team, you would have had your exit meetings.
Yeah.
So you would have spoken to. I understand, and I don't have confirmation on this, but I'm not sure. I don't know who was all at these exit meetings, and maybe someone higher up was doing the exit meetings via video link.
Okay.
Which to me, you never know. Something maybe, who knows what happened. Someone had to be somewhere else. But I'd have to get 100% confirmation on that. Having said that, so you have the exit meetings, you have the players talking to the manager, the coach as well. So as a player, when all that stuff comes out yesterday, how do you feel as a former player if you were on that team?
Well, I think it depends how your exit meeting went and what you were told. I played on a lot of different teams, obviously, so I know that every team has a little bit different formula of how they do it. Some teams you'll sit with the GM and the coach in the same room, and that'll be it. You'll be done. Sometimes you'll have a meeting with the GM and a separate meeting with the coach. So I don't know how much I'd read into how the exit meetings went, but if I'm a player and I'd go through my exit meeting and they're making it sound like Knobloch's the guy next year, or they're not, hinting at any kind of changes, and then this comes out the next day, I'm going to be pretty surprised.
Or maybe they hinted that in your exit meetings, but are stringing them along.
Right.
So
I don't understand why. I mean, I listened to, I think it was Donnie P had a clip yesterday saying he thinks that Bruce Cassidy probably leaked this. It makes sense. I mean, Vegas just adding to the huge list of why everyone hates them, not letting he talk to the Oilers after they fired him.
It's funny, and off topic, that game goes to overtime last night, and I'm thinking, for all the teams that screw things around, and there's so many that are documented, they should not be. The karma should come back and get them, and they shouldn't score in overtime last night. That's what I'm thinking, right? Especially what happened if that's the whole story from yesterday. They should not be scoring in overtime, and it never comes back to kind of haunt them.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. I can't remember if we talked about this last week, Schlemmer, but and I brought it up at the Stan Bowman avail. I didn't understand why Stan was first out of the hopper. Well, I totally understand why.
Now you do.
No, but that should have never been the case. Like, the media and fans needed to talk to Stan after,
so they could ask some questions about what the players said.
Well, because the players come out after and go, they'd give all the, the comments. You heard what Connor and you heard what Leon said.
Well, yeah, now they got all the juice, and Stan's already done.
He doesn't have to be accountable.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I felt was not fair.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So
I mean, I think he's feeling the heat right now.
Text 833-401-1440. We'll get to those as the morning progresses. We got Mike Wilner coming up from the Toronto Star, Deep Left Field podcast. I don't know. I've been watching the Jays as much as I can, but
I've been following along a little bit. Just kind of treading water.
Man, oh man, are they ever treading? Well, they're not even. They're drowning right now.
They're drowning a little bit.
They're drowning right now, and I mean they're playing the best team in the American League in Tampa.
Are they on fire?
It was just really, really hot. So before we get to the baseball, and we got a couple more minutes in this segment. So what's the plan of attack this week for the Oilers? Like, what are they? Like, Speck comes on and says, "Well, I would expect something today that you've got to tell Chris Knobloch, okay, you're no longer part of the organization."
100%.
So that's today. Like I said, well,
That's
I mean,
step one.
Step one. Okay,
Yeah.
fair. And then, like, we talked about Craig Berube getting fired. Like, could you imagine if Bruce Cassidy now all of a sudden is talking with Toronto?
So if Vegas doesn't let him talk to Edmonton, you think they let him talk to Toronto?
I think in a second.
Yeah,
we had
just
some
like
texts.
different conference.
Yeah, we had some texts. Either have we talked about the LA thing? We mentioned it off the top. Justin said this. Did we talk the fact the Kings got permission to talk to Cassidy? Well, the one thing, Justin, okay, Elliot Friedman, so you got to go by him. He goes, I've heard whispers. I don't have any confirmation on that. I believe that's what Elliot said. I might be mistaken if he came back later in the day and said something to that effect, but nothing confirmed from what I can understand between the Kings and Cassidy. But so what this does too now, and even like I would be stunned if something happens and Knobloch ends up in Toronto.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I could see more of a Cassidy
in Toronto. But here's the thing, and Speck mentioned this: the plan of attack now is more heavier analytics in Toronto. That's why they're going with Chayka.
So you think they go off the board?
Well,
like a David Carl or something out of Denver. If he even wants to leave there, he's probably got a good thing going.
Yeah. I asked Speck too, because I couldn't remember if Derek Lalonde, who was head coach in Detroit, and he was an assistant this year in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I don't know how much of an analytics guy he is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If they want that continuity from someone on their coaching staff that was under Berube.
How's the text line looking today about Berube coming to Edmonton?
We had people talk about it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
We had people talk about it.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, how do you feel about how Berube could click with the likes of McDavid, Draisaitl?
I don't know if that can happen. I mean, we talked about this. How about this? There was a stat that came out today about Matthews and how his implementation was in Toronto. The 8 years prior was 35 or 36% against the other team's top players, elite players.
Yeah.
Under Berube, it shot up to 48% or something like that.
Makes sense. Look at the numbers.
And now Matthews' numbers pull back. They regress. He's not getting the matchups that he had before.
Right.
He's
and that
playing
looks
harder.
And that looks fine when your team's having success and they finally won a playoff round last year, but it doesn't look good when you have a bad year.
No, when you got to win or you want to win, and that's where they are. And you think about the two, like Edmonton and Toronto, it was two tough seasons for sure for teams with the highest expectations in the country. When we come back, we'll check in with Mike Wilner from the Toronto Star and the Deep Left Field podcast. It's Kevin Karius. It's David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you need bodywork, paint touch-ups, or anything in between, the family at Cougar Paint and Collision takes every customer issue to heart.
We've had a lot of really good customers over the years. One guy, he would bring in everything and he would just expect us to be able to kind of fix it. It didn't matter what it was. And one time he brought in his washing machine.
The only thing that was wrong with it was the drum was rusted out or something.
Yeah, he wasn't going to replace it.
Yeah, we had to weld it up. Anyways, he was a nice old guy. Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Karius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
For the most physically demanding jobs, Carhartt's Rugged Flex technology provides extra stretch where it's needed most to help you crouch, kneel, bend, or crawl with ease. Rugged Flex pants give you a maximum mobility advantage every time you put them on. Find the largest selection of Carhartt Rugged Flex at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
Job site workwear, tough people, tough jobs.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:21 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express packages have arrived. They've got the 20-inch black aluminum wheels, the Mopar side steps, body color bumpers and grille, plus that sports performance hood. See them at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Mike Wilner from the Toronto Star, and the Deep Left Field podcast. Good morning, Mike. Here with Kevin Karius and the former NHLer, but big-time baseball expert, David Schlemko. As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440, big guy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, Toronto Star. That's the right one. But it's funny. I find that so many hockey players, so many of the guys in the NHL are really huge into baseball. It's great.
Well, I'll tell you what, and Schlemmer will talk about this. Go ahead, because he was a teammate of Mike Smith's, and Mike is a hell of an athlete. And he was down, where was that, in Tampa taking BP?
Well, I played with him in Arizona.
Yeah, but he was in Tampa taking BP,
yeah,
right?
But he used to do it in Arizona too.
Okay.
He'd go to the D-backs games and take BP, and he'd be hitting jacks out of the park, man.
Well, and you're right, Mike. You probably saw lots of guys taking BP, and even in Toronto, and I think Austin Matthews done it a few times for sure.
Yeah, every once in a while, a Maple Leaf or a few will come down. Not very often, and take batting practice, but it's more in the conversations with old Leafs that I have run into over the years, Doug Gilmore's and Curtis Joseph's and people like that who are just massive, massive baseball fans.
Yeah, very true. Mike Wilner with us on Sports 1440. Well, I mean, the Jays have run into a real powerhouse here. The Tampa Rays are the best team in the American League. Was there a little bit of life that you saw yesterday, though, with that comeback that just failed short yesterday?
Oh, absolutely. They looked completely dead for the first 6 innings and change. Even like in the 7th, they had a runner at first and 2 out, and there was no reason to believe that was going to be anything except just a walkover for the Rays. But to get up off the mat like that and score 5 runs, it definitely shows something. This is a Tampa team that had allowed a total of 24 runs in 16 games, and the Jays dropped 10 on them in the last 2. They lost both, so moral victories are what they are, but not rolling over is always a good sign. And look, you're dealing with the hottest team in baseball right now. This is this is a team that's won more than 2/3 of their games. It's not going to last, very obviously, but the Jays are running into them at the wrong time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right. They had some fight in him. That's nice to see. I want to ask you about Vladdy. He's batting for some average, obviously, but struggling to hit for power. What do you attribute that to?
I talked to him on Tuesday, sat down with him in the dugout for a good 7 or 8 minutes, and asked him all sorts of stuff, including that. And he's a guy who, it feels like this is sort of always the way for him. I think we expect 50 homers a season because he had that one huge year in 2021 when he was just a baby, and then had the massive playoffs last year. But he's never been that guy over a full season. And in fact, I don't think he's ever hit more than 7 home runs in the first quarter of a season. And 2 years ago, he only hit 4, and he wound up with 30. The power for Vlad is something that has always taken a while to show up in season. But he did say that, going to the World Baseball Classic in March, maybe he got his body ready too early, and he's been playing catch up since then. He's not worried. He says he started like this before, and he's wound up with 20, 25, 30, and he's kind of right. I mean, he started with 4 and wound up with 30. This year he's starting with 2, which is only half as many. But he knows his home runs come in bunches. Everybody knows that his home runs come in bunches, and they don't often come in those bunches early in the season. So maybe when the weather heats up, so will Vladdy. I mean, there's no reason to expect he's not going to wind up with at least 25 homers again. It's just, with everybody on the team hurt, they really could have used something from him early on to help. And he understands that. And he also, he admits that there have been plenty of times over the early part of this season where he's just been trying a little too hard because all his teammates are dropping like flies. And he knows it doesn't work, and he knows it's not the best thing to do. And George Springer has been a big help in reminding him that it's not the best thing to do. But sometimes it happens anyway.
Mike Wilner with us on Sports 1440. I don't know if you know who Orv Franchuk is, Mike, but we had him on the show yesterday. He's from around these parts in Edmonton. He was the hitting instructor, batting coach for the Boston Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2004. He broke down Vladdy's swing yesterday, and the way he broke it down and compared it was quite amazing to what we've seen in the past. And then I don't know if you had the opportunity to see this yesterday, but I get home after the show, Mike, and I'm watching the MLB network, and Harold Reynolds is on, and I think you probably watched some of him in the afternoon, and he broke down Vladdy's swing, comparing it to last year and then at the Even World Baseball Classic. If you get a chance to see that yesterday, I'm pretty sure you probably would have been down at the ballpark at that time. But if you get a chance to find that video and the comparison, it will blow your mind what Harold Reynolds broke down yesterday, because it is night and day from last year with his glide foot, his left foot, with everything else, that, his little tap and everything. And he talks about how they freeze frame it and do all the side stuff. It would blow you away. So I encourage you to find that. But he also said too that, he's pressing. He wants to do so much, and he wants to lead this team. How much do you think that is?
Well, as I just mentioned, he says, often he's trying to do too much because everybody's hurt. And I don't know, it's because he wants to lead the team. He does lead the team, but he wants to be the best hitter. Absolutely. He knows that everybody's looking at him, or looking to him to get big hits in big spots. And he absolutely feels that. So, certainly that's a thing. And yeah, his swing changes a lot, especially when you're going through it, right? You go through tinkering and changes, and the bat tip is a little different, and the plane is a lot flatter, and all of that stuff. But he's pouring over that video. It's funny, Harold Reynolds, noted power hitter Harold Reynolds, but he's going through all that stuff too and trying to figure out a way around it. And really, honestly, when you look at the course of his 7 years in the big leagues, all it's going to take is for one to go out. All it's going to take is one, and then he could hit 5 more in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
How about what does the future hold for Eric Lauer and the Jays? Hey, you'll be the first one to say he saved the Jays season last year, but he's struggled. He doesn't even seem happy anyway.
He was DFA'd, so he's gonzo. So
no path to come back for him.
Well, what's his like? Is he just wait and see if he can hook on with another team here, or what do you think, Mike?
Well, what happens now is that he goes through waivers, and if any team claims him on waivers, they would have to assume his entire salary, which nobody's going to want to do for a pitcher with a 7 ERA. So then he will either get outrighted to Buffalo, and he already is off the 40-man roster, but sent to Buffalo. And if that happens, he'll have the opportunity to instead say, no, I'd prefer to be a free agent. And we'll see. We'll see if he walks away from the, 2.8 or so that he's still owed and takes free agency, or if he goes down to Buffalo and tries to get right and get back here to Toronto. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't happy. He wasn't pouting or anything. I think a lot of people, he's a very dry guy. And I think a lot of people thought he was really angry pitching behind an opener because he said he hates it. Right. Every pitcher hates pitching behind an opener. What he was angry about was the fact that the Blue Jays kind of screwed him last year, and over the course of the winter, and went back on their word to him. That when they took him out of the rotation last year, he claims that they said they would take care of him over the winter, and then they took him to arbitration and they beat him, which is not really taking care of a player. And then they promised him a rotation spot this year because of his good soldierness last year. And when he came to camp, he was the 8th starter. So he's not very happy. They cost him at least $1 million in arbitration and in contract with how they handled last year and this year. So I wouldn't be happy either. But then, you have to channel that unhappiness into going out and shoving so that you make all that money back and more when you're a free agent this winter. And unfortunately, that didn't happen either.
Yeah. Mike Wilner with us on Sports 1440. What's your concern level with Addison Barger when he is slated to return? And kind of a two-parter, do you think that Yohendrick Panango should be getting more at-bats than anyone else in Barger's absence?
Well, yeah, and I think he did the first time Barger was hurt, and he will now until this turns off. But he's hitting .375 to start his career, which is pretty good, but that's clearly not who he is, right? He's not a top prospect. He's not a kid who everybody thought was going to come up and hit for real power and win contend for a batting title. He's hot, just like the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays are hot. They're not going to stay hot all year. But you got to ride it while you can and keep him in there. Absolutely. My level of concern for Barger, I mean, they say there's no structural damage in his elbow, and we kind of have to take them at their word. They've lied to us about some people already this year, like Trey Savage for one, but they say there's no structural damage. They hope that he'll be able to get off the injured list in the minimum 10 days or close to it. So I'm not that terribly concerned, and I'm not concerned at all about a crappy 22 at bats to start the season.
Obviously, Jays have had some injury troubles. We've seen some call-ups, but is there anyone in the minors having a good year we haven't seen yet you'd like to see get a shot with the big club?
I mean, 14 trips on the injured list. We've seen pretty much everybody that there is.
Fair,
right?
fair.
No, I think Chad Dallas is doing pretty well down in AAA. He's a right-handed starter, but he's coming off a Tommy John surgery, so he's sort of being limited 4 innings or so an outing. I really like Josh Kasevich, his shortstop, who missed all of last year injured. But again, you've got Andres Jimenez, Ernie Clement, Kaz Okamoto, so those guys are just fine. Hopefully they stay healthy, and then you've got Lenyn Sosa as the backup. But no, I think that the other guys in the pipeline are a ways away. But yeah, we've seen so much roster churn already for the Blue Jays this year that there's kind of nobody left.
Mm-hmm. How good was that catch that Varsho made last night against Aranda?
I mean, it was phenomenal, but hopefully it doesn't cost him time, right? When you go chin first into the wall like that, the Blue Jays didn't seem concerned immediately after the game, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Varsho afterwards, went down into the clubhouse and waited by his locker for a while, but he wasn't there, and I assume it was because he was getting checked out. John Schneider wasn't worried about a concussion because he said it was chin, not head, but as someone who's had a lot of concussions, I know that getting hit in the chin that hard is just as likely to cause a concussion as hitting your head. So I'm interested to see what happens. I'm pretty concerned, but we'll see. I doubt very much he'll be in the lineup today. Then you got an off day tomorrow, so 48 hours to sort of see what happens. But it wouldn't surprise me if he wound up missing some time, but hopefully he doesn't.
Can they keep Chandler Simpson off the base pass today?
I don't think he's going to play today.
Oh, really?
He didn't play last night because of he left Monday's game early with some cramping in his leg. And I think he probably sits today too. Which is great news for them because Chandler Simpson is a problem, and he's going to be a problem for the Jays for a very long time.
No kidding. Who's after Griffin Jacks? Who's Tampa going with coming in as the bulk guy?
I think Jacks might get a chance to run with it a little bit. Apparently, they're trying to do the very Tampa Bay-like and unconventional move of turning him into a starter mid-season.
Wow. It's
not something that happens very often because it's really not a good idea, but Tampa, Tampa likes to try stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw 3 or 4 from Griffin Jacks tonight, and then you sort of mix and match the rest of the way.
As always, good stuff, Mike. Enjoy the game tonight and a day off tomorrow. Which is always nice in the media business too, isn't it?
Yeah, but days off are never days off in this
come
business.
on,
You guys know
come
that.
on. We know that. Come on, Mike. Have a good one. Thanks,
Hockey
Mike.
players get the summer off, but we don't. We don't get the winter.
See you later, big guy. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
as always. Mike Wilner, Toronto Star Deep Left Field podcast. Our game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express packages are here. And check it out at stalbertdodge.com.
Just trying to think about, like, if I tried to tell the trainers, like, I got a leg cramp, I think I'm coming out. I think that's enough for me today.
I mean, Stevenson's I think he's got 14, 15 bags already this year. And he basically, the other night, I guess it would be Monday, manufactured, like, all the offense, it seemed. Stealing bases and errors, causing everything, like just
flying around.
Wow. I mean, it puts pressure on. I mean, Gosman, I think, threw over a couple times, and now you're out of, throwovers. So, should mention too, I mean, just talking baseball, I mean, Paul Skeens last night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. This guy's the best pitcher in baseball right now. I wonder, Duke, remember on we watched opening day here? So because it was on Thursday, or maybe it was, it's Thursday. And the game started at 10 o'clock. And anyway, Skeens is on the hill. And he might have had the worst defense behind him that ended up giving up earned runs. Not, so like they weren't committing errors. Like a ball would drop in front of a guy, said he lost it in the sun.
Just a little sloppy.
And he got yanked. Hey, Duke, was it first or second inning right off the hop? But his ERA, if you take that game out, his ERA would be, I don't even know what it would be. It'd be
minuscule.
Oh, but he had a no-hitter last night through 7, I guess it was. 10 Ks. And even the hit. I don't know. Did you guys see the hit? It was, I think, O'Neill in center. O'Neill Cruz.
Gold glove caliber defender out there.
But man, this guy's just good. And I think Dallas texted in. So Dallas, we're just getting to your text there about.
Yeah, his opening day start was he got through 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 runs, all earned on 4 hits. ERA 67.5.
Tough start to the year.
and I'll be honest, like if that start happens right now, he's continuing on. But game 1, day 1, 10 in the morning or 12, whatever. That's the big difference. I hope one of you guys can find that Harold Reynolds thing. And I'll tell you what, I'm shocked that the Jays haven't figured this out about Vladimir Guerrero's swing. If you look at it and you can find it from yesterday, I don't know if it's possible, guys, from MLB Network. It is amazing. And then, Wilner gives him a shot. So, the big power hitter.
He didn't sound too impressed.
But it's when you analyze the swing and bust it down and you got the side-by-side boxes and you look at it and you see Vladdy overextending his left leg to get through the ball, which throws everything off as far as timing. How do you get, like, in your golf shot, your golf swing, what has to happen?
Right.
Everything's coming through at the right time for power, for accuracy, for everything.
Makes sense. So do you think that this change, like he was trying to make this change, or this is something that he's just lost?
I think you lose it.
Okay.
But I can't believe that they haven't found it. And the hitting coach there, David Popkins, he's the hitting coach in Toronto. I can't believe that they haven't found this. Like, again, this was an amazing 5-minute breakdown of one of the pure power hitters that we've seen.
Well, I bet he's seen the video now. You think he's worried?
Well, but it's such an easy fix. To me, it's such an easy fix. And again, if somehow I wish we could get that out. And at the end of it, Reynolds goes, all right, look at him over here and look at him over here. And he goes, I could blow on him and knock him over. He's so off balance compared to where, like, even like point of impact.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing thing to watch from a guy that, the video that they broke down there. So
cool.
When we come back, we'll get more of your texts, 833-401-1440. We'll go in or out with Schlemmer. We got Casey Bryant from the Everett Silvertips play-by-play, man. That's all coming up straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine, but we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post-workout. Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for two. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all sevens. Go Auto, get in the game.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on. Your favorite teams, your favorite sports. This spring, catch all the action at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house. Plus, the perfect playoff menu with something for every sports fan, including daily food and drink features, from great goals to thrilling three-pointers to huge home runs. Spring brings the best to the big screens at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 946 in Edmonton. Just before we get to in or out, text from Patrick. Hey, Kevin, what about Jason Smith coaching the Oilers? Would he have the same effect on the Oilers as Marty St. Louis has had in Montreal? So to bust this down, I'm going to ask Schlemmer too. Way different scenario. So Marty St. Louis came in, and hey, let's be honest, he could have got canned 2-3 years ago. Like, he came in, and Marty St. Louis came in, and it's a different team because they were way younger.
Yeah.
The Oilers are in win now mode, man.
Right.
They have been for a couple of years.
Yeah.
He came in 21-22. They were out of the playoffs. He was a replacement. They were 31-45 out of the playoffs. That's 22-23. In 23-24, they finished 30-36 out of the playoffs. Last year, they went 40-31. Lost in round 1 to Washington. So you're seeing something. It's improving.
It's building.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea what kind of coach Jason Smith is when you're comparing it to other guys that would be up for this job.
I've just talking to Chip, my buddy who coaches with him in Edmonton.
Kyle Chipchura.
Kyle Chipchura, yeah. Loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he's like a bit of an old school guy. Very like defense first.
Yeah.
So not sure how that would mesh with the Oilers, but I think it's a completely different situation with St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
You already talked about there's a very young team. I think there's like, I don't know, it's different in Montreal. It's Quebec. It's like he's from there. He's French. They're all just kind of rallied around him. I don't know. He seems like very approachable with the young guys. It seems like the dialogue seems very kind of respectful. Like they're on like an even wavelength more than like coach to player. I'm just not sure that it would be like that with Jason Smith.
I don't know. You know, it's funny because we brought this up about the comparable between Chris Knobloch and Marty St. Louis. So everyone thinks when they see Chris Knobloch on the bench, that's what you see all the time. And as you said, that's not the case. And we've said this many times. And when you see Marty St. Louis on the bench, he's not going bananas on the bench. He's quite composed. Maybe there's a little more animation than what you see from Knobloch, but it's not like it's night and day.
Yeah. He, from what I've heard, like the guy say, like he's passionate, but like he doesn't really yell, like doesn't freak out.
Yeah. Good text from Patrick. Appreciate it. Time now for Are You In or Out? Brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast AC service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Letterbuck.
Conversations continuing in this studio, in this city, around the country and beyond. The future of Chris Knobloch, the Oilers coaching staff. Add another iron to the fire as Craig Berube let go by the Toronto Maple Leafs earlier on this morning, a product of nearby Calahoo, just outside the city. He immediately jumps up right beside, I'm putting them on even level, Bruce Cassidy as the top candidates to take over what we expect to be a vacant head coaching position.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be out on this, Duke. I just think that and again, it's way different having a pulse on the situation here and being down at the rink and at practices and games and seeing guys and you get a little more intel than to say that you know what's going on in Toronto, because we don't.
Fair.
And the people out in Eastern Canada don't know what the hell's going on out here, but they pretend they do. But if you kind of connect the dots, would you say, Schlemmer, that how he handled Matthews, Nylander, I mean, maybe Marner?
I think that's going to have a huge impact on who they think or whether that would be a good fit. I'm going to be out too. I'm with you on that. I think Cassidy is going to be ahead of him just because of like what you mentioned. He didn't have a great track record coming into Toronto and dealing with these superstar players and taking them over the hump. It's kind of a similar situation here.
What do you think the comparison for, say, a Berube, like why he had the success? And they caught lightning in a bottle in St. Louis.
Louis?
I mean, they were last place or damn near last at Christmas or whatever it was.
But they fit right into like the way he wanted to play, right? They're a blue collar team. They were a Ken Hitchcock team for how many years where like it's almost like the Daryl Sutter era in LA where they still play like that tight defensive kind of game. Like it's just kind of in their DNA now. So I think it was kind of a natural fit for Berube going there. And he kind of just brought out of them what was already there and just improved it a little bit where he goes to Toronto and he tries to completely change the way they play the game.
Yeah. And nothing against guys like Shen and Kyrou and Thomas and all these guys that, you know, in St. Louis, but they're not Matthews and Martin and Nylander. And again,
there's a little more ego there.
That's right? The high profile, man.
Yeah.
So if he's not at the same level and you guys still think, and I'm sort of assuming here, I guess I can ask you think Bruce Cassidy is the number one guy for this job with the understanding that they've requested to speak to him. But even, you know, outside of that, you don't think that there's another name that's really been circling as a replacement here?
Well, I don't think that they're going to take Connor McDavid's opinion in on it this time after the they've already tried. They've done the Jeff Jackson. They hired his junior coach. I kind of think they're gonna go for someone has a well-respected reputation already.
Okay, so you don't have Berube on par with Cassidy. How much further down? Like, you guys think that he is or should not be a candidate, period? Or you just think that maybe if you swing and miss on Cassidy, whether he goes to Toronto, to LA, sits out another season, like Berube shouldn't be in consideration?
I just think you're at the end of this window to win here, right? And I just don't think you have another opportunity to screw this up,
right?
With the chance that might not work out between the Stars and Berube. And I don't know. I'm not willing to take that risk if I'm the GM.
At this point, well, again, the big picture here is, again, you got 2 years of Connor McDavid, which technically could be 1, because you're not keeping him around in his second year unless he's staying here longer.
True.
So you are trading him without question, depending on what time you are asking him, Connor, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You want 2 years is fine. We'll go keep doing 2 at a time, and you can go 20 mil, whatever it is, because that's what it's going to be. But if you're him and Han, they got to move him.
Yeah, have to.
The flip side of that conversation is that the Toronto Maple Leafs need a new head coach now as well after Berube's departure today. I'm thinking based on the current trajectory of the Leafs, where they're at organizationally, I think a fresh face would be best suited to take over their bench boss position as opposed to another recycled name.
I do think that's what will happen. I guess we just talked about this a few minutes ago with John Chaika, and they want to be analytics driven. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going after David Carl in Denver.
Is that right?
I mean, I don't know that. I'm just throwing it out there, but he's been one of the top coaches in college hockey for a long time. A lot of whispers about his name every time there's an opening.
I don't know if he wants to go.
That's what I was going to say. I'm just not sure that he even wants to leave there.
I don't know if he wants to be part of the circus.
Couldn't blame him.
Yeah. Like maybe they go off the board, like, something like, remember when Dan Muse got hired in Pittsburgh? Everyone's like, who the hell's Dan Muse?
Right. Same as Warsofsky in San Jose.
I agree, Duke. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
But
or do it like a lot of the time we talk about some of these former player assistant coaches that ply their trade for a little bit and then eventually get the promotion. Do we maybe see that route of a former player? Like, I don't know where the organizations are at that currently employ these guys, like a name like Steve Ott. I know Mark Letestu had been brought up as a potential assistant coach at the NHL level before getting a chance as a head guy, as he's been plying his trade in the AHL. Do we maybe see that route or one of these, as you said, Kevin, kind of really off the board names that we're not familiar with?
Who else would there be? Like,
That's a good question.
Joel Ward's in Vegas. I can't really think of anyone else. Mark Stewart, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's some names out there that are like, again, Letestu's the one that popped up, Duke. We talked about him here for possibility, but as an associate coach, because he's head man right now in Denver's farm system in Colorado, right?
Okay.
So
Eagles.
Here's
the Eagles, yeah.
The funny, this came, you mentioned Donnie P on with Low Tide yesterday, earlier, Schlemmer. And this is something that Low Tide brought up, and this was specific to the Oilers job, which I don't see happening. But do we finally see Jay Woodcroft get another look as a head coach after a resurgence here on the bench with Joe Quenneville in Anaheim?
I don't see it personally. I don't know.
Not in Toronto or not anywhere.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like,
not here.
Well, obviously, I'm agreeing that not here. That makes zero sense whatsoever. I'm on track there, but
I don't know,
his record is as a head coach. I mean, yes, it was with the Oilers and they were a really good team, but it's pretty impressive. And to not get another job to this point as a head coach is kind of surprising, I think.
The other name, and we were talking about yesterday, is Gerard Gallant, Duke.
Yeah, and you were right, Kevin.
Loved by the players.
He left his job in the KHL due to health.
So he had some health problems. So yeah,
every guy that I've played with, talked to, that played for Gerard Gallant loved him. And I don't know about Woodcroft. He just seems too much of a dweeb to lead a team to a championship. I don't know. Maybe that's harsh.
I don't know.
Moving down the list tonight, playoff action. Minnesota will try to keep their season alive against the Colorado Avalanche. Watching Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes duel head-to-head in this series. I get it, they're both defensemen. They're not necessarily matched up against each other, but both have been exceptional through the 4 games. I think it has been the highlight of the playoffs so far this spring.
Definitely in on that one.
Really?
Yeah, I've loved watching this series. I think it's been the best series of hockey that I've watched in the last, I don't know, few years. It's been awesome.
You know, like, I mean, if you look at how it shook down in the 2 empty netters last game, I mean, it was a tie game late. I don't know if Minnesota, they're just not deep enough up the middle with, you know, Eriksson Ek out.
They're missing Eriksson Ek big time.
And you know, those, like, Colorado just keeps throwing those guys over the boards, all 3 of them, like McKinnon, Nelson, and then Kadri, and then Drury.
And their 4th line is
Parker
unbelievable.
Kelly scores the winner.
Yeah.
So they've been really good. Yeah, it's been fun to watch for sure. I'll just go in just to get to the next question.
And Hughes has had himself a great year. He was excellent at the Olympics as well for the United States that go on to win gold. But we talked a lot, and there was a lot of discussion around Cale Makar's season, and did he deserve this year to be one of the finalists for the Norris Trophy, or was it a largely reputation nod that got him in over some of the other names that were in the mix this year? I don't know if he's listened to that. I don't know if he heard that, or if he's also like Nate McKinnon holding a little grudge over from what happened in Italy at the Olympics and Canada coming short of gold. But he has very much looked like vintage Cale Makar so far in these playoffs, and it has been dynamic. Him and Taves have been absolute nails as that top pairing, eating a lot of minutes for the Avalanche blue line. PGA Championship teeing off tomorrow morning, bright and early outside of Philadelphia. 3-time winner. 1-time runner-up a couple other times inside the top 5. Brooks Koepka will make his return to a top 5 finish in a major championship for the first time since 2023.
Wow.
You won't take him in the lunch pool.
Yeah, take him.
You're absolutely right. I will not take him. But I thought just naming my pick would be a little too top, because I knew you guys would be out because you don't want whoever I picked to win.
All right, fine. You're probably right on that.
Because you guys are just naturally oppositional when it comes to those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I'll be in on this one. I think Brooksy's game it's coming into form here. He loves the PGA. He's won it a couple times. Yeah, top 5 will be tough, but I think he'll be in the mix for sure.
You know, when we had Keith on, he never mentioned his name once, Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Does that surprise you that he didn't? You know, he mentioned Sam Burns.
But Burns, I think was those were kind of Burns was like his dark horse name, and then you brought up Fowler, and he said, I'm not even sure if he counts as a dark horse because of how he played last weekend. Like
the odds are the same as Burns.
Yeah, all right, fair. But I don't know. Listen, I think Koepka, he lives for the major championships. That much we know, and that's his reputation before leaving for LIV, and now with the disintegration of this alternative league. He kind of jumped ship at the perfect time before, and his route back into the PGA Tour is seemingly going to be or he's already completed it, but a lot easier than what some of these other guys might face moving forward once LIV all but certainly does fold here as soon as the end of this season. And I think there's as you said, he's playing some golf that is much more resembling. He finished T12 at the Masters and played some good golf that weekend. I think there's a chance for him to really get his name back in the map as a weekly contender at these big tournaments.
How many in the last couple of weeks has he been waiting to get in as an alternate?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because that's been a couple of tournaments where he's waited.
Oh yeah,
waited. Yeah,
interesting. How many guys on tour you think just hate his guts after they're probably jealous of what he did. Like he just left, secured the bag, a couple $100 million, and then he gets to come back.
A few $100 million in his pocket, and then he comes back and is like, all right, here's your PP wax. And oh, by the way, you have to make a $5 million donation to a charity, and essentially you're fully reinstated. Yeah, I think
good deal.
I think he's coming out like gangbusters on this. We don't know what's going to happen for maybe the likes of DeChambeau, Rahm, even Dustin Johnson, some of these other big names that will want to return, among many others for sure, return to the PGA here.
Yeah,
I forget about Taylor Gooch.
Oh, of course. How can I forget about Taylor Gooch?
DeChambeau, if you look at Keith's list, is like about 3 of the experts have him as the number 1 golfer to be fading this weekend.
Koepka.
No, DeChambeau.
Oh, DeChambeau. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that guy's arc has been pretty wild, where he went from everyone hated him, and then he does this YouTube thing. And I think it honestly went hand in hand with he actually hired a PR agency, and they totally recalibrated and redefined his image, like in the public side. They then fired that PR agency and is now back to being everybody hates him and he's a loser. So maybe not the best foresight on his individual part.
I mean, your popularity is going to go up when you're winning too, right?
Always.
He hasn't been able to put it together for a little while here.
Yeah. But you're not in on this, Kev?
No, I'm going to be out.
All right.
Top 5. It's just a little hot for me. If you said top 10, I'd be in.
And I will take this opportunity. My pick.
Oh, you're gonna pick right now, Nick?
I'm making the pick. Okay. I'm making the pick right now, so then we can send the text out to Eddie to get him and SKS to get.
Who's number 2 though?
Schlemmer is.
Oh, okay.
And then Josh.
Just
and then
Josh. I'm waiting to hear.
Take him. Come on, don't.
I'm going with our guy Keith Stewart. I'm taking Cam Young.
What?
Young. I'll take Scotty then.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Duke.
I just think after you asked him for me, you're like, hey, just so you know, this is the situation, and Duke's the biggest loser in the whole world. He had to buy us all Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
Who would be your pick for him? And he said any one of Scheffler, McElroy, or Cam Young.
So who's at 3?
He said Forever Young.
Well, I know who you're going with. Take him already. So Josh Fenwick said
no.
Josh
3. Josh said he's taking Tony Finau.
No.
Okay, Tony Finau, number 3.
I'll take Hovland.
Hovland.
Really?
He liked what he saw from the finish in the Masters, the Dave Schlemmer's bacon.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
so
that's a little
Victor
stressful.
Hovland, and that's to Joshy boy, who didn't make it to our Szechuan Castle dinner or lunch.
I like it, Josh.
Okay, and now
Off the
Eddie's up.
board.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eddie's up and he's on the clock. Do you think he's listening right now?
Oh, you'll get a text
I'm
in like
texting
2
him.
minutes.
I'm texting him.
Okay.
We know Sean's listening.
Eddie, we know who Eddie's taking.
Who?
He'll take Mac.
Oh, yeah?
Eddie doesn't have the stones to take anyone else. Yeah.
Who are you taking?
Well, that's the thing. I go last.
Well,
so
wait. Yeah.
I'm probably waiting.
Oh, yeah.
for-
Kev's the
I'll
best.
wait till
He's the
tonight.
smartest. Who'd you take, Josh? Hovland.
I know. You know who I'm going to get. Who I'll be getting is the guy that ended up Duke buying lunch for last time, and I'll probably get Oberg.
Oberg? I'd take Oberg.
Yeah.
Yes. You say that. It's easy to say when you don't actually have to take them, and he lets
Well,
you down.
it's easy to say
He
when I
lets
got
you-
Scotty in my pocket right
and he lets you
Yeah.
down. He lets you down again.
So as long as the guy doesn't finish 6, that's all you care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't lose.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Last.
I should probably take Koepka then, Duke, if you think he's a top 5.
Well, yeah, you should, Kev. It's a lock.
No.
Mortal lock. Mortal lock of the year. Finally, wrap it up. Return of spring and summer. I know, Schlemmer, you're probably still just itching to get back out on the links yourself. I played a pretty below average game myself yesterday afternoon, but with the return of the nice weather, and this season does, of course, come the unabated, uninterrupted construction season. It seems to be year-round at this point. Maybe that's advancements in modern technology that they can do it all regardless of the season, but it's always worse when the weather's nice. I would rather these construction operations just close down the section of the road, whatever, for however, like, you'd think it would go faster if they just close the entire thing down and aren't dealing with traffic and get it done, as opposed to just divert 3 or 4 lanes down into one. I'd rather just see an entire stretch of a road closed for however long it takes.
100% in on that, Duke. I mean, it just makes sense.
Right? And it makes so much sense. Why don't they do it? They only do it when it's like absolutely necessary to fully close the road. Instead of, we got this debacle out here at 87th Ave and 178th Street right now.
That is crazy.
Our
years 87.
The K97 program director Jeff, he said on his way in yesterday, he comes from the south side. It took him like an hour and a half to get here because he's coming up the Henday, accident there, then gets off and coming up 178. And there was an accident at this intersection right outside the mall. He said it was backed up south, like down past the White Mud, south as gets. So it's just craziness.
So as crazy as this sounds, Duke, I'm going to be out.
Oh, it's crazy.
You got to hear me out here, because so if you close it down completely, you're still then you're going to run into probably more problems than you think, because there's still areas like if you're thinking about a segment, Duke. Okay, if you're saying around 87th here, And what are you talking? 87th and 170th? Is that what you're
that's just the most prevalent example for us here where we work. All of us drive past it or around it every day. So like if you just close that stretch on both sides around the mall and you just make it, you have to take an alternate route, and you know it, like it's closed,
I think,
and you can adjust accordingly. Maybe they get it done faster as a result. I'm in
I
on
don't know
that.
if they're getting it done faster.
Right? Well, like you see these videos in like Asia, and they will close it all down, and like the whole thing is done in like 48 hours.
I still like you need like the
We'll never get
the
there,
arteries
Clever.
would get so plugged up.
I get
around
it.
the area.
I do see that angle. I absolutely do, but I don't know.
I just think like if you know that like things are down to one lane, or as you said, down to like there's two, I guess here, there should be four. If they're down that much, I think you should just know about it and avoid it, but still have that option open.
But it still just backs up the traffic everywhere else, all around it.
The vision of our city planners and city managers is so inept.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain what they see and what they think it can be.
It's fantasy.
Well, Duke, and this is 2 years now already.
Yeah, but Kev, I don't know if you heard that the main construction here on this LRT line on this end of the city should be done by the end of this summer.
What do you mean, the LRT?
No, like the LRT is not going to be done, but the part that impedes road traffic, that should be done. I read an article on that earlier this week.
Okay, my point 2 years ago was, when will we be able to ride the LRT from?
You said not before the end of the decade.
That's right. I said the end of the decade.
I think they're coming along really good.
Oh, it's just fabulous.
I can't wait. I can't. I hope
Fabulous.
it's done really quick, so then I can find a way I can ride it to work every day.
I will say, like after like living in Montreal, the construction is way worse all the time. There's a ton of it. It's
Here or in
everywhere.
Montreal?
It's worse in Montreal.
Oh, really?
Way worse. Like
The language barrier.
It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. But I also heard that the mob's kind of like heavily involved with the construction. So maybe
Take
that
a
has,
day off here.
maybe that has something to do with it.
Cannon says we're going to have teleportation before the LRT's done.
Well, with all the alien news, maybe they can let us in on their technology and we can just skip the construction altogether.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a mess. And again, 87th is so bad around here. But to be honest with you, Duke, if you go down 104th or even Stony, it's worse.
Oh, yeah.
And then what they did is they figured, okay, we'll take away 107th as well on you.
Perfect.
You know, and then I would have loved to see you, Schlemmer, when we went for dinner at Chop.
Yeah.
And you try to get down.
Schlemmer, I would have loved to have a video a camera in the laddie's truck.
Oh man, there would have been a wild scene.
Yeah, that sucked.
Patty and Spruce says the Yellowhead's been under construction for 8 years and still no end in sight.
Good times.
Yeah.
I've never seen part of the Henday that's like in all the, I've lived in Edmonton for, better part of 10, 13 years. There has never been a point in time where there's not some part of the Anthony Henday that's not under construction.
The old Dilly Bar says, I've got a good buddy who's a city planner. Ironically, Edmonton is one of the best planned cities in North America. We're just growing much faster than anticipated. Your buddy's buying you some beer. Let's go for a beer. I'll buy you a beer. You say that it's been great planning. Good stuff, Duke, on In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. When we come back, a quick little segment before we talk some Western Hockey League action. And it's game number 4 tonight in Prince Albert between the Raiders and the Everett Silver Tips. We've got Casey Bryant, their play-by-play man, Everett's play-by-play man, coming up at 10:20. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoff action tonight. Colorado Avalanche try to punch their ticket through the Western Conference Final when they host the Minnesota Wild for game number 5 Avs with a 3-1 series lead. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock. In case you missed it earlier this morning, Toronto Maple Leafs and new general manager John Chaika parting ways with head coach Craig Berube after 2 seasons behind the bench for the Buds. Posted a record of 84, 62, and 18, winning the Atlantic Division last season. WHL Finals. Back at it tonight for game number 4 in Prince Albert. Everett currently touting a 2-1 series lead. Puck drop at 7:30. And news of the PWHL making it official. Expansion into Hamilton and Las Vegas, joining Detroit as expansion teams announced this year. One more is expected to begin play next season, which will bring the league's total to 12 teams. In the association tonight, Cleveland and Detroit go out for game number 5, tied at 2 games apiece. Tip-off at 6 o'clock from Motor City. And the Edmonton Elks, news from training camp this morning, several cuts to announce, and also signing this year's first-round pick, Daryl Jabome, to the training camp roster. Majors today, Jays wrap up their series against Tampa Bay from Toronto. First pitch just after 5 o'clock. It'll be Dylan Cease on the bump. Elsewhere, Yankees in Baltimore, Boston hosting Philly, and the Seattle Mariners are in Houston. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Everett Silvertips play-by-play man, Casey Bryant. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Want home ice advantage for your window coverings? Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and the fastest turnaround in the city for homeowners, builders, and commercial projects. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $3 million raised for local charities.
And his Gregor Foundation,
He's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. .com, Alberta's energy. Game on.
The funny thing about hitting the road to leave it all behind is you don't really want to leave it all behind. So Sherwood Honda has the SUV with plenty of room for all you want with you. Think Honda CR-V, the Honda Pilot, or maybe even a Ridgeline truck. With this kind of lineup, you can go where you want and bring all you want with you. You sure would make it easy to leave your cares behind by starting at Sherwood Honda.
The Kevin Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers.
thanks for checking in.
With Sports 1440.
Program 10:17 in Edmonton. We're trying to get the golf picks, so Duke sends it out on a group text. And okay, so the Duke takes Cam Young, correct? Schlemmer takes Scotty Scheffler. Correct. Josh takes Victor Hovland. Correct. Eddie's pick is up, and what does Eddie do? I'll take Cam Young. Oh, Eddie Spaghetti with the meatball eyes. So you know that he's going with Rory McIlroy, without question.
You're calling it, eh?
I'll take, without question. He takes Rory McIlroy. That would leave SKS to take the next pick, and he usually goes kind of off the board, I think, a little bit. He probably will take Oberg, I think.
Is he the one who took Rose last time?
Yeah, he took Rose last time.
That's not really off the board at the Masters, though.
He's just no sniff. But once you get, like, if you look at the odds, right? Scheffler's number 1. McIlroy's number 2. Cam Young's at 3. And then John Rahm's at 4.
That's interesting.
It is. And he's a guy that could win or miss the cut.
Yeah, that's a great call. Love that.
Oh, Eddie takes Colin Morikawa.
Really?
Oh, anybody. Hey? I'm not buying much for anybody. No, that's right. Like, I mean, Eddie, come on now. Colin Morikawa. So he is plus 4,000. I got on. What
Eddie,
odds you got, Duke? On?
Eddie must have done some research and knew he's feeling good from that injury.
So he goes from taking Cam Young to Colin Morikawa. Even Koepka's a better odds than Morikawa.
What's hurt? What is it? His back?
Oh yeah, he's going to seize up.
He might not make it through the weekend.
Yeah. Oh man. Huh. Text 833-401-1440. Jane Victoria says, I don't know why they don't do the construction at night. Well, it should be going 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24/7. But Rob is correct in this about Duke's question. And Rob, you were 100% right, especially around 87th Avenue here. You got to think beyond commuters. Emergency response vehicles need quick road options. Diverting them several minutes in another direction, that's how you're handing more diverted traffic is going to have an impact. So, for sure. And that's why, as I said, you need a lane open or two, whatever it is. But if you know that it's going to be congested, well, then try something else. Have you gone down like 104 Ave, like downtown at all, Schlemmer?
No, I avoid downtown like the plague.
Yeah. MTR says Duke doesn't think about others, only himself. That's why he said about that question.
SKS took Rory.
Did he take Rory?
Yeah.
So Eddie took Morikawa.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys talk about Morikawa injury. Rory's
here too.
He has a blister. you were joking earlier, Schlemmer, about the baseball players pulling out of games for legs cramping up. How about Rory not finishing his? I think he played 3 holes yesterday, and then he's like, "I got a blister. I can't carry on."
Who is going to take Tommy Fleetwood?
Josh. The words weren't even out of Josh's mouth yet, and he was already regretting his pick. He wanted to switch to Tommy Fleetwood. Trying me haddest.
That'd be a good pick.
What's that?
That'd be a good pick.
No, I don't. Well, Duke thinks Koepka is going to be top 5. I got to go. I don't have to make my pick until later today anyway.
Oh, come
What
on.
are we talking?
Doesn't start till tomorrow.
You're going to go home and do hours of.
I'm going to go along with Keith Stewart.
I was going to say, you've already done all the research you need. You read Keith's article from this week at what's the name of the course?
Aronimink.
Down in Philly.
Aronimink. Yeah.
Aronimink. There we go. We had Keith on this morning. You had a 15-minute chat with him.
Mm-hmm.
What more research are you capable of doing?
Because you took the guy. You took Cam Young.
Oh, man, we saved this all week to do our picks on the show.
Cam Young. Here's another guy that I don't know. What's Matt Fitzpatrick? Look at this. This guy could won 3 of the past.
Is his brother there?
No, he's won 3 of the last 5 events.
His brother blew it on Sunday.
Yeah.
I took Fitzpatrick in both my Masters pools. He's been good this year.
Mm-hmm. Sam Burns.
There you go.
You know what I'm going to
do? You were all riled up for Ricky Fowler.
Ricky.
No, too far off. You know what I'm going to do? And I took him before. I'll take. I think I'm going to do it just to piss Duke off, and I'll take Ludwig or Oberg.
Love it.
Yeah. Just to piss Duke off that he was last at the Masters. And
Yeah,
I'll take
he'll
Oberg.
probably win
It was
this week.
between Oberg and Shoffley for me.
Okay. Shoffley's a good major player.
Yeah, he's a good major player. Maybe I should. I'll take Oberg just to get. And could you imagine 2 losers in a row, both of them Oberg?
Be something.
We don't want to see that. I know Eddie's been texting 10 times. What's he been saying, Duke?
His exact message is, "Man, I'm driving. I don't got time for all this. Lock me in with Colin. Asian flavor. Ain't letting me down again. See you losers at Szechuan."
Great text.
Patty likes Bryson DeChambeau. It's a 7,400-yard course. How about what Keith Stewart said, too, Schlemmer, that the Masters greens, 6,800 square feet average.
Yeah.
These greens are 8,200 square feet.
It's huge.
Gonna be one all putting. Oberg's a good putter, isn't he, Duke?
He's decent. I wouldn't say it's like a strong suit, but
he's
not a weak putter.
Yeah. Big Rig says our road construction's a joke. You look around the world, this would have been done a long time ago. We don't think about any of it. Think about what they do. Never mind where they're putting in roads after people. What in China, they put the roads in first and then build the city.
Yeah, they do a lot of things a little different in China.
Yeah. Text 833-401-1440. I guess we can go to break, Duke, or are we on time for Casey, or what are we at? Okay, let's go to break, and then we'll talk a little Western Hockey League game number 4 and look back to game number 3, obviously. The Prince Albert Raiders and the Everett Silver Tips. It's a 2-1 series lead now for Everett after the win last night in Prince Albert, where, she was a close game. It was 2-2, and Everett was just a little bit better as the game wore on. That's straight ahead. Casey Bryant, Everett play-by-play man, Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Cougar Paint and Collision, family incorporates everyone.
I mean, the staff at Cougar are the cogs in the wheel. If you've got 1 or 2 wheels that aren't rolling with the other one, then you're not going to have a smooth operation. Everybody that we have at the shop really enables us to continue to help Edmontonians. We just try and help people get their cars back on the road, and it's the people that work for you that are going to allow you to be successful.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
This summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweat Box.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Whether you're refinancing or buying your first home, mortgages are easier with help from a neighbor. At Vision Credit Union, you get face-to-face guidance from local lenders who know the market because, well, they live here too. They'll look at your whole financial picture with practical advice for payments, renewals, refinancing, and what makes sense long-term. Get a more neighborly mortgage. Contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1028 in Edmonton. And time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we can meet all your car needs, your vehicle needs, and more with our digital vehicle report. We just don't tell you what your car needs. We show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome in Casey Bryant. By Playman, good morning. Casey, you're with Kevin Karius and the former NHLer and Western Hockey Leaguer, David Schlemko. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Kevin, David, thank you so much for having me. Greetings from the lovely Art Hauser Center. I'm sitting out in the atrium right now. So if it's a little echoey, I apologize. But I tell you what, this is one of the most unique atmospheres in the Western Hockey League. I'm so excited that we get to come out here for the final.
No kidding. I was telling our listeners a little earlier, Casey, I was lucky enough to work in Prince Albert 30 plus years ago, and the same barn is still there. It's probably just as loud as it was back in the day last night, wasn't it?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that was an awesome atmosphere. I tell you what, it's so funny how many people show up right as soon as the doors open so that they can sprint to their standing room seats. It's like standing at barricade for a rock concert. You are running to your location so that you're not having to look over people and fight over their shoulders to get a good vantage point. And then once you're there, you are locked in and you are there to watch the Raiders. Nobody moves during the game. It's remarkable.
So what'd you make of Game 3 last night, Casey, where the Tips get the win in the pivotal Game 3 to go up 2-1 in the series?
You know, first period was very physical. I thought that Prince Albert played really fast and really engaged physically in the first period. It helped a lot being on their home ice surface. Helped a lot for them, I'm sure, the way that the Game 2 ended. Game 2 ended with a very big physical brouhaha. Daxon Rudolph got suspended for Game 3 for cross-checking Carter Bear in the head. There were a couple other penalties, couple other, skirmishes at the end of Game 2 that I felt spilled over into Game 3 a little bit, helped Prince Albert dictate the pace a little bit in the opening frame. But after that, the Silvertips are a very good 5-on-5 team. And when the game was at 5-on-5, the Silvertips really controlled the pace. They outshot them 44-20. And really the best quality scoring chances at 5-on-5 came in the Silvertips offensive zone. So I thought they adjusted really well, particularly in the second. The Silvertips had a couple of big penalty kills in the third. They get a good rebound opportunity to get the game-winning goal. But I tell you what, these are just two very good hockey teams. In terms of overall quality of play, defensive structure, speed, puck movement, these are the two best teams in the league, and I don't think, honestly, it's very close.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you think for PA to kind of have some more success that they got to maybe muck it up a little bit more, make it a physical type of series, and Everett's kind of the more play fast and skilled kind of team?
Maybe because honestly, I did think that the Raiders were more focused on particularly laying the lumber on the Silvertips top line. Whenever you have guys that are very skilled, what's the number one thing anyone ever tells you? Hit them, slow them down, force them to the outside. And Julius Miettinen, Matthias Van Haan, and Carter Bear, that's the top line in the league right now, maybe other than the Ruck brothers and Medicine Hat. There are no other lines that are as productive as those three. And Carter Bear is a very physical player, but then you start to look at the other two Finns, and you think, okay, well, what can we do to slow them down? And I thought that they rose to the occasion. I'm thinking of a quote that Julius Miettinen gave last night, where he thinks that the physicality of a series and ticking him off brings him to another level. He's got a little bit of Jamie Tart in him that way. Where for any Ted Lasso fans out there, I think that you can take the step up, but you also have to make sure that you don't get burned if you go for a big hit, because they will be by you in a blink of an eye.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Casey. It took me about 2 seconds. I was trying to piece that together with, the Ted Lasso reference. I'm thinking, okay, where is he going with this? But yeah, thanks for that. Julius Miettinen gets the game winner last night. How the hell does this guy who scored 31 goals in his draft year, how does he not go earlier than 40th overall? And when you see him play now, did he have a big growth spurt? What's the story with this guy? Because I don't know if I'm seeing Mikko Rantanen in this guy or what. What's going on here?
That first year, by his own admission, was very difficult because for any Euro coming over to North America, it's not only learning a new structure and style of play, you're learning the culture. And you're trying to learn a lifestyle. And he was not great at English. He was pretty good, but like it just wasn't very comfy for him. Go back and watch it, like an interview from when he first gets drafted by the Seattle Kraken, where his English is pretty fragmented. He's very hesitant to put together a long sentence, whereas now he's very eloquent with his speech. And something as simple as that can, I think, impact your play. I think he would admit that his play on the ice was affected by his life off the ice and kind of a little bit of loneliness, to where now in his third year, and he's got a countryman on his wing, and Matthias Van Hanen that he's taken under his wing. I think that has helped him just get so much more comfortable. Plus, you factor in the fact that he's 19 instead of 17. He's shed a little bit more of the baby fat, and now he's a bit more of a man physically. And he's just playing a little bit more engaged night in and night out. The number one battle with him is making sure that every single game he has a reason to be ticked off and to play at that level. Because in the pro level, you have to bring it every single night. That's how you earn your paycheck. And I think that he's risen to the occasion. He has accepted that challenge, and he is just a meaner player now than he was when he first came into the league.
I wanted to ask you about Steve Hamilton, local guy, obviously coach of the year. Quick story, actually. First, I was working at NAX Academy a couple of years ago. We're looking for to hire a U18 coach, and we're talking to Steve. He's thinking about maybe it's time to come home. He had just had like his surprise firing in Calgary, and he mentioned, I am in line for this Everett job, so if that comes up, like I'd be going for that. So obviously he got it. He's taken full advantage of it. What's made him so successful there?
He is an excellent communicator. He would have done awesome at NAX because honestly, his experience dealing with school kids and dealing with young men is so prevalent in everything he goes about his business. He is such a great communicator to young people. I think he relates to them really well. He's never too hard on them. He knows exactly how to push guys and what buttons to push. He is someone that relates to a lot of the players in the locker room. And he's just got a steady hand on the wheel the entire way through. So I think what makes him effective is not only that his systems are tried and true, and he knows what kind of players win at this level of hockey, having won several WHL championships, having won a Memorial Cup, but it's just his ability to be an easygoing guy and his ability to be a relied upon mentor and not just always the whip cracking, hard-nosed, coach. I think that that's a really important thing when you're dealing with these young men, especially now, given that coaching a young person now is much different than it was 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. You have to evolve, and Steve has. Yeah. I think that he's a really remarkable guy in that regard.
Casey Bryant with us, Everett Silvertips play-by-play man, Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you. How much would Steve be preaching discipline today heading into game number 4? There were a lot of penalties last night. And also on that subject, Casey, did you think that Carter Bear hit from behind was going to be more than a 2? Because a lot of people thought it could have been a 5 easy.
I'm sure a lot of people in that crowd wanted to be a 5, especially after the Daxon Rudolph hit on Carter. And that is kind of Carter's game, is that he does like to mix it up. He likes to push the envelope a little bit and see where the line is. I think that would have been a real tough 5 to give out at that stage in the game, but wouldn't have been surprised. As far as preaching discipline goes, yeah, that's been the number one thing the entire playoff run. It has been the one Achilles heel of the Everett Silvertips is that they take a lot of penalties. That Kelowna series in particular in round 2 for Everett really illuminated what the penalty disparity was. The Rockets had twice as many power plays as Everett did. And it really illuminated, like, we got to make a more concerted effort to stay out of the box here, boys. Like, and it's easier said than done because just the feel of the game varies from night to night depending on what your crew is. I think it's just a very difficult thing to say, hey, we're going to stay out of the box tonight. Yeah, okay. But then how are you going to engage physically? What is the next step? It's certainly a focal point, but I would expect a pretty similar tenor tonight, to be honest.
Now, Casey, I've been pretty entertained watching the Hughes and the Makar kind of show or matchup in the NHL playoffs. Is there a little bit of that flavor in this series with Landon DuPont and Daxon Rudolph?
Daxon is a heck of a player. He really is. He moves the puck extremely well. He's got a great shot on him. I think that the fun thing about the two of them is how confident they are in moving the puck. And you can see it in Daxon Rudolph's defensive partner, Justice Christensen, as well, where there was at one point a 2-on-1 rush that Prince Albert had, I want to say in game 2, where the 2-on-1 is Christensen and Rudolph going up against a defenseman. How often do you see 2 D-men leading an odd man charge, knowing that they will have the ability to get back into their own zone before they're burned by it? Like that's a really special thing. But that's something that the Silvertips have had all year with Landon DuPont and Terrence Smith, who was on his defensive pair for the entire year until he got hurt. And now it's Breck Liskey, who's probably going to be an early second-round pick in the NHL draft. So the fact that you have 2 teams going up against each other that have such mobile and intelligent defensemen, it makes it so entertaining because it is a revolutionary style of hockey. It is something that has come out in the last 5 to 10 years, where D-men are now some of the most important offensive drivers, the McCarrs, the Hughes. You can throw it back to the Carlsons and the Subbans that kind of brought us into this new era. It's a really fun matchup, DuPont and Rudolph, to see them knowing what the future of the NHL is going to be.
Yeah. Casey Bryant with us on the Kevin Karius Show with David Schlemko on Sports 1440. Luke Vlusic, that goal last night, is that the biggest of his junior career?
There aren't a lot of goals in his junior career, so yeah, I'd say so. That's not a knock on him. That's just not his game. He's someone that has really had to take a lot of strides to be more of a two-way defenseman and not just the big body in the corners. It's a well-placed shot. It's a great shift. His pair with Matthias Ueda, who the Silvertips found pretty much off the scrap heap of the PJHL, signing him halfway through the year. They've become a really solid second pair for the Silvertips this year. Vlusic, a well-placed shot. He's someone that's gotten a lot better handling the puck as this year has gone on.
Yeah. I saw that pinch he had in the third period. I was like, whoa, big guy. Take it easy on that one. Like we know his mom quite well because she's been on our show several times, and I've interviewed her dozens of times, and she's actually going to be on this Friday.
Oh, okay.
From Prince Albert, because she's going to be at the game. Well, you would know more than me. I said, out of all the games that he played this year, how many do you think, Lisa and her husband have attended Luke's games? 60 of them?
Yeah, it's almost all of them. I mean, they are everywhere. They travel, and they are this, Kevin. They're the nicest people in the world. They are such beauties. And Lisa will share stories and ask you millions of questions and make you feel so welcomed in her conversations. They are the best. I love the Vlusic, so please say hi for me on Friday.
Will do. Yeah. When you talk to her, how do you get her energy up? How do you do that?
How do I get her energy up? Oh, I don't have to. I walk in the room and she is at an 11. She's awesome. She's one of the most contagiously happy people I've ever met.
Well, every time she comes on, like we'll have texters that send in a text and go, "Holy man, I need a cigarette after that."
Yeah, that sounds right. Family weekend was the first time that I was really able to meet her. Everett brought in all of the parents and all the siblings like a week after the trade deadline. So Luke was still very new to the organization at that point. But his mom walks in and is immediately this focal point of attention in the entire room because she is gravitating, asking everybody what their names are, what their backstory is, and everything is met with just wide-eyed, like, that's so cool. That's awesome. Tell me more. She's a fabulous person. Love her.
For sure. Hey, Casey, thanks for coming on a game day. Really appreciate it. Say hi to Steve for us, because obviously with Al being here and, brothers Andrew and Brett, they've been friends for a long time and big supporters of the show. Best of luck the rest of the way. Have a great call tonight, and we'll talk soon.
Kevin, David, thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Casey Bryant, Everett Silvertips, play-by-play man, and our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, check them out. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today. I'll be honest, Duke, I got to bring, because Schlemmer didn't hear this with Spectre this morning, with Spec. Spec got a flat tire yesterday. Fountain Tire is one of the most premier sponsors of his golf tournament.
Yeah.
Big time. So Spec goes to get his tire repaired yesterday, but Fountain Tire is just closing down. So he goes across the street to Trail Tire, and they actually take care of him. But I was surprised that Spec wouldn't have said, I'll come back tomorrow. You guys have been at my tournament. You've been gold sponsors for a long time. But he walked across the street, and then he tipped them rather handsomely.
Yeah, with a nickel.
No. Who texted it and said, piece of gum and a Werther's?
Hey, you're giving Speck a hard time. He said like it was the leak, and it was more than a slow leak on the tire. He said if he'd went home, it would have been flat in his in the park install this morning. He'd have been hooped, and then as you kind of alluded to, where you thought the story was going, he would have had to have Shelka go out there and change it for him so he could carry on his merry way to do all of his business this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. KK. I mean, if your tires, you got to get it fixed.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm Fountain Tire, I'm going, Speck, go ahead, go talk to the guys at Trail Tire. They can sponsor your tournament. I golfed with them last year.
As Speck said, though, he went to Fountain Tire and he just missed them because they closed at 5:00. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm kind of in a tough spot. What am I going to do? And Trail was closing too, but they just had a couple guys still kicking around the shop, right? With like locking the doors as he pulls up. And he got, let's be frank, he's very fortunate that he got it fixed at all. He would have had to be driving around the donut on his.
We also had another text. Was it a plug or a patch?
Good question.
Got to be a plug. It was a screw.
Got to be.
Yeah. How about didn't you have a?
Yeah, I had an interesting tire situation last week.
Yeah, that was right after the Szechuan Castle.
Yeah. So my wife was driving, blew out her tire. It was kind of like later at night. It was 9:30, the last pickup or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Just pull over, just leave it. I'll deal with it in the morning. So then the next day we had our lunch at the Szechuan. Yeah, I had a broken rib. So I called my dad to come help me change the tire. We could get out there, changing the tire, get the tire off, get the new tire on. And like the metal part, the inside of the tire is just all banged up. You can't even get the tire on. So then I got to call a tow truck and get it towed. It was an ordeal.
You and Speck and just regale everyone with your stories of your tire situation.
Not fun.
Here's a post for MTR. He's probably read it and talked about this already. This is from George Kittle. Duke, I don't know if you've seen this. At 4 a.m. this morning, as I laid in a deep slumber, I was called to action by my wife, who had discovered a spider the size of $50 in the bathroom. Without hesitation, I arose to combat the intruder. Claire handed me my slant board I've been using for rehab, and immediately I knew that the spider had no chance. It took but one attempt to strike down my opponent. I received hugs and kisses for my bravery and fell back asleep with confidence. Have a great day, gentlemen.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your San Francisco 49ers, MTR. There they are, a real hero. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Mr. Rooter gets attacked by a Canada goose.
Oh, look at that. Another on-time arrival. Nothing stops Mr. Rooter from plumbing on schedule. You gotta be kidding me. Hello, Mr. Goose. I'm Mr. Rooter. Okay, this is what you train for. Through rain, sleet, or goose, the pipes get fixed.
For a plumber who does whatever it takes, Mr. Rooter.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
You've enjoyed a long winter with your Ego snowblower, but now it's the time to get ready for spring. Bring your summer Ego equipment in for service. Or if you're looking to add to your lawn care fleet with new mowers or trimmers, Ego has a wide selection of products to fit every season. Ego also has the powerful wet-dry vacuum and pressure washer to make your cleaning and lawn care a breeze.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
You need freedom on the job site to get your work done. Carhartt's extensive line of rugged flex pants are engineered to move and stretch with you throughout the day. So whatever you're doing isn't held back by lack of mobility. Find the largest selection of Carhartt Rugged Flex at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
Job site workwear. Tough gear for tough jobs.
My ultimate dinner hack for busy weeknights is Catch of the Week. I used to think a great meal meant hours in the kitchen. Not anymore. I grab fresh fish, get simple instructions, and have an incredible dinner on the table in minutes. Their ready-made meals are a lifesaver, too. It's real food, it's fast, and it makes you feel like you've actually got your life together. They're just 5 minutes from Sherwood Park, but worth the drive from anywhere. Stop thinking about dinner and just go to Catch of the Week.
Visit catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1050 in Edmonton. You know, Schlemmer, I'm going to save it for next week because the CHL, and by that time, the Memorial Cup will be talking about that and everything. They had a top 50 list.
Oh, yeah.
For players of all time. And I think Sid Crosby was today, and he was number 2. The one guy that
Who's number 1 then?
Do you know who number 1 is? I can tell you who it is because they put it all out. Number 1 is Mario.
Oh, okay.
Wayne Gretzky. So some of these I didn't understand. So they have, and I don't know what the criterion was, but it's going to be a good talker for us. We can talk about 15 minutes or so next week. But the player, and I looked on the list, maybe I'm wrong, Duke. Robbie Brown. Rob Brown's not on this list.
Really?
For top 50.
That's crazy.
I mean, I think he had like 400 points in 2 years.
Yeah, he was an amazing junior.
Yeah. So I thought he was going to be on that list. The text I wanted to get to is a really good one from Ontario Moms. The Oilers should hire Cassidy and then also offer sheet Dorofeyev. Screw Vegas.
Ooh.
So this is an interesting conversation. I mean, Cassidy's Cassidy, and I like the text, Momsy, here.
I like that a lot.
But the offer sheet, and again, so Dorofeyev, and he had the winner last night. He had 2 goals last night.
Yeah, like
He's
37
got 7
in the regular season.
7 goals in the playoffs, 37 this year, 35 last year. He's 25 years old. Or coming 26, he's at the last year of his deal at 1.8 or 1.9. For a guy that's got 35, 37 at that age, for the tiers for an offer sheet, and with the cap going up, and what kind of deal is this guy going to sign? So the third tier is between 7 and 9.6. So if you go at the very high end of that, 9.6. And offer sheet him whatever at 9.6. The compensation's one first, 1 second, and 1/3. If you go over that threshold and go into the second tier, then it's 2 first rounders.
Okay.
1 second, 1/3. And then if you go over the threshold of 11.7, it's 4 first rounders. So
when do the Oilers even have another first rounder?
Yeah, that's the important thing here.
Exactly.
They
I understand.
can't do anything because they don't have any draft picks.
I understand all that. It's more of just a talker. Would another team that has some currency here, be able to do it? Or would they want to do it? And what tier would he go in? Is he in tier? He's got to be in tier 3.
Yeah, I would think
He's
so.
a $9 million player. Is he
Aren't
not?
that many goals. Cap's going up.
He's a $9 million player. So everyone knows that the Oilers have no draft picks. Well, they got one in 2028. And we talked about this too. Carolina's got 4 picks in the next 3 years, first rounders.
Wow.
That's more than the Oilers, Vegas, Colorado, and Dallas combined. They have 3 between those 4 teams.
Those
so
teams.
I like your thinking here about the to Ontario Moms. It can't be done here. We know that, but I would believe that he would go into that. Maybe he goes higher. Maybe he goes into the number 2 tier.
I kind of think he does. I think if he stays 9-6 or lower, Vegas matches it.
Then they do, yeah. But that's
like
that's
it's got to be high enough that they're like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. Vegas, they'll do anything. They're not afraid.
Then they finally get some currency back. But I like the thought process of it, because we haven't seen a guy like this, I don't think, that's at that age. Like, look at how old Broberg and Holloway were. They were a little bit younger than that.
Not putting up numbers like that.
Not even close. I mean, again, Dorofeyev, 35 goals, 52 points last year. This past year, 37 goals, 64, and he's got 7 in the postseason already.
I think a lot of hockey fans out there would love to see Vegas get screwed once or twice too.
Yeah. Picked in the third round of the draft, 2019.
Steal.
That
was a wicked shot on his goal last night.
Oh,
it was a hell of a play overall. I mean, he stripped the puck, went skate to stick, beats Carlson to the middle, and absolute snipe.
Zellweger gets the tying goal.
Nice shot,
It was a great shot.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? After that, they played him a lot more. Well, they played him lots all game. But after that goal and into overtime, I thought he was just in over his head a little bit.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah. If you walk and on the goal, I don't know, Duke, because we didn't talk about it this morning early on.
Well, before the overtime goal scored, you have 2 chances to clear, neither of which were Zellweger, and you don't get it done. I mean, that's how you lose a hockey game.
He's moving around.
And then even on the go-ahead goal, I mean, it's part of the reason why we saw Zellweger play so much is that Ian Moore, who's had himself a great playoffs, and we've talked ad nauseum about the capability playing forward, now back on D, ices the puck on an unforced play, and then loses his man in front that scores was the go-ahead goal. I'm not sure he played another shift the rest of the hockey game. And then Minchikov also did not play very much. We saw Zellweger take his spot on the second pair beside Carlson.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay, well, you would know this, Duke, because I've been wondering this with Zellweger back in the lineup, and that Hines kid was playing before. Like, was he hurt or anything, or was he just getting health bombed?
Zellweger?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, he's kind of been in and out of the lineup all year with this pile up of defensemen at the bottom end of their roster. And it's just a matter of, and maybe this changes, or maybe this is a chance to showcase if they end up deciding to move him or something, because he's not a Verbeek guy. He didn't draft him, and he just doesn't really fit the Verbeek mold of size. Like he wants players that are big, and Zellweger is obviously super skilled. We saw it in the Dub World Juniors. He's had pretty good success at the AHL level when he's been playing there, but with the pileup of D-men they have in the system, I don't know what they're going to do with him moving forward.
He's a world-class skater, man. I think that'd be a big mistake to let him go this early.
I believe it. David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, where family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. Are you getting close to golfing, Schlemmer?
No, man.
Come on now. Come on
It's
now.
3.5 weeks.
Oh, too bad.
Rub it
Too
in.
bad. Great show, Schlemmer. We'll see you back on Wednesday.
You bet.
Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rochep T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne, 12 to 2. It's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell, 2 till 6. Jason Greger drives us home. We'll join Blue Jays baseball in progress. Fox Sports All Night. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 bells. Ladislav Schmid will be back in the co-host chair as well. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand. High-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. Hey, and that's Fusion with a Z. Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the great texts, and thanks for all the interaction. We could not do it without you. Hope you have a wicked rest of your Wednesday. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you back tomorrow at 7 bells. Until then, here is the Duke.
Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoff action tonight. Game 5 between the Avalanche and the Wild. Colorado looking to punch their ticket through to the West Final as they lead that best of 7, 3-1. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock from Denver. In case you missed it, earlier this morning, Toronto Maple Leafs and new general manager John Chaika parting ways with head coach Craig Berube after 2 seasons with the club. Stanley Cup champion in 2019 with St. Louis. Berube posted a record of 84, 62, and 18 over the 2 years with the Buds. WHL finals resuming tonight from Prince Albert with the Everett Silvertips hosting a 2-1 series lead. Puck drop at 7:30. And PWHL making it official that 2 more expansion teams joining the fold for 26-27 season. Hamilton and Las Vegas will join Detroit in the new group. 1 more team expected to be announced before next year. In the association, Cleveland and Detroit tip off for game number 5. That series tied at 2 apiece, 6 o'clock from Motor City. And the Edmonton Elks from training camp this morning have signed national linebacker Darrell Jabome to his deal. First round pick of the Elks this spring. Also, first round of cuts being made by the Elks. In the majors today, Blue Jays wrap up their set against Tampa Bay from Toronto. First pitch just after 5 o'clock. Dylan Cease on the bump. You can catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Join in progress at conclusion, the Jason Greger Show. Coming up on the station, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440